Chapter 966. An indescribable scene appeared in front of everyone. On the peak of War God Mountain, a handsome prince in white pulled out the god's weeping halberd that had been sealed for many eras and pointed it at the sky. This extremely shocking scene petrified everyone. They held their breaths as if their souls were frozen at this moment. How is this possible? Not to mention Prince Bayan, Li Jioi, and the others. Even Prince Mo Jie, who had a transcendent bearing, had an extremely interesting expression at this moment. He couldn't remain calm. The legend of the first war god, the god's weeping halberd, could be said to be known by everyone in the 10 continents of the foreign realm. But now? This god's weeping halberd that should only be mentioned in legends had been pulled out by someone. This kind of shock was indescribable. My young friend really did it. The god's weeping halberd has recognized its master. Elder Mu's pupils were trembling. He saw that the bloodlines on the god's weeping halberd were like roots, piercing into Jun Xiaoyao's arm and absorbing his blood. This meant that the god's weeping halberd had truly recognized its master. It wasn't pulled out by force through some method. This was very important. That halberd. Looking at the god's weeping halberd, Su Hongyi suddenly felt a stabbing pain in her head. A blurry scene appeared. On a battlefield of blood and fire, a blurry, peerless figure stood side by side with her, holding the god's weeping halberd in his hand. Of course, this illusion disappeared in a flash. Even Su Hongyi herself was puzzled. How can you pull out the god's weeping halberd? Prince Mo Jie was shocked and in disbelief. He could feel the world-destroying power from the god's weeping halberd that made the heavens tremble. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao, who had pulled out the god's weeping halberd, felt that the god's weeping halberd was frantically absorbing his chaos blood. This was a world-destroying demonic weapon. If it were anyone else, they might have been instantly sucked dry by the god's weeping halberd. But Jun Xiaoyao was different. The chaotic physique gave him an almost endless source of power. His qi and blood were also extremely vigorous. The blood threads that extended from the god's weeping halberd pierced into Jun Xiaoyao's arm like blood vessels, absorbing his chaos blood. Jun Xiaoyao's black hair turned white inch by inch. In the end, it was as white as snow. Jun Xiaoyao's appearance was already peerless, and her temperament was transcendent. At this moment, he was wearing a white robe and had white hair. With the god's weeping halberd in his hand, he stood proudly on top of the god of war. This scene was deeply engraved in the eyes of everyone present. Sir Tushan Chuanchuan's eyes were blurred. It wasn't just her. Tushan Wanwan, Su Hongyi, Fei Qingxue, even Luo Xiangling, who had been secretly observing and hadn't taken the initiative to show himself, felt his heart tremble. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's white hair was 30,000 feet long, and he was a transcendent being. Apart from the 3 layers of snow on the monarch's body, who else in the world is worthy of wearing white? In the hearts of all the women, there was only this line that matched this scene. Sensing Jun Xiaoyao's astonishing aura, Prince Mo Jie's face became extremely solemn. At the beginning, Prince Mo Jie was 100% confident that he could suppress Jun Xiaoyao. But now, he had no confidence at all. Because at this moment, Jun Xiaoyao was too mysterious, and his aura was too powerful. He was like the legendary first-generation god of war, the demon king who destroyed the world. Let's fight. Let me see how strong you are after you pulled out the god's weeping halberd. Prince Mo Jie shouted coldly, and his voice exploded in the sky as if he was emboldening himself. However, Jun Xiaoyao was still expressionless. The supreme divine blood in his body began to boil. The 4th supreme technique was used, and all his attributes skyrocketed several times. At the same time, a surge of universe origin energy, superimposed with the chaos energy, surged out from Jun Xiaoyao's body and poured into the god's weeping halberd. Buzz, the god's weeping halberd's blade vibrated, and an earth-shaking tremor sounded, which could shatter the void. A destructive aura swept across the place. The expressions of all the sky prides changed, and they were terrified by this destructive aura. Even Elder Mu and the other elders of the academy had a change of expression as they sensed an aura that made them solemn. "How strong are you?" Jun Xiaoyao laughed. "You can't afford to accept my power." Jun Xiaoyao held the god's weep halberd in his hand as soon as he finished speaking, thrusting it at Prince Magia. The fourth supreme technique was superimposed with the universe origin energy and the chaos energy. In addition to the destructive aura of the god's weeping halberd itself, this halberd split open heaven and earth and shattered the universe. A crack in the void spanned thousands of miles across the sky. The stars shook, heaven and earth lost their color, and the sun and moon lost their light. It was as if heaven and earth were going to be annihilated by this halberd. Prince Mo Jie's expression changed drastically when he felt this destructive aura. Invulnerable, tenfold realm. Prince Mo Jie let out a long roar, and the 10 immunity divine halos around him released endless brilliance. It was as if they had turned into 10 layers of worlds, enveloping his body layer by layer. Immovable Vajra. This was the ultimate divine ability that Prince Mo Jie had refined. He was immune to everything. Even an expert of the same level would find it difficult to break through this tenfold realm when using a forbidden technique. Any powerful divine ability would be weakened by this tenfold realm layer by layer, and its power would be suppressed to the extreme in the end. However, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flickered. The God of War catalog's function was not only to deduce divine abilities. It also had another ability, which was to detect the weakness of other divine abilities and break them with brute force. This tenfold realm was perfect in the eyes of outsiders. However, in the eyes of Jun Xiaoyao, who had cultivated the God of War catalog, there were traces of flaws. Although they were difficult to discover, they really existed. "Kill!" Jun Xiaoyao shouted, and the god's weeping halberd tore through the sky. Rumble! The two of them collided, and it was as if Mars had collided with Earth. Boom! 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 The dark golden god's weeping halberd went straight for the root of the problem, breaking through layers of realms. Beside Prince Mo Jie, the divine rings of immunity shattered one after another. "How is this possible?" Prince Mo Jie exclaimed, and his face was distorted in disbelief. His 10 divine rings were immune to the power of most divine abilities of the same level. However, it could not weaken Jun Xiaoyao at all. There was only one reason. However, Jun Xiaoyao was simply too powerful at the moment. The god's weeping halberd was boundlessly domineering, destroying all obstacles. Slaying gods if gods blocked it. Slaying Buddha if Buddha blocked it. This was the inextinguishable battle intent of the first god of war, and also the destructive power of the god's weeping halberd. No one could block the god's weeping halberd. The sharp halberd blade tore through the tenfold realm and directly landed in front of Prince Mo Jie. "No!" Prince Mo Jie let out an exclamation that sounded as if his liver and gallbladder were about to break. "Poochie!" The halberd blade pierced through Prince Mo Jie's body, and sparkling blood splattered everywhere. The god's weeping halberd nailed Prince Mo Jie's body to the god of War mountain. The terrifying destructive power contained in the halberd directly turned Prince Mo Jie's internal organs and primordial spirit into minced meat and nothingness. Dead silence. After the extreme collision, there was extreme silence. All sounds between heaven and earth were lost. There were only faces filled with endless shock and horror. One of the 7 minor emperors of the foreign domain, Prince Mo Jie. He was nailed to death by Jun Xiaoyao's halberd on the God of War mountain. Chapter 967. All the sounds in the world seemed to have been sucked away. Everyone opened their mouths silently, but no sound came out. It was as if a pair of invisible hands had grabbed their throats, preventing them from making a sound. Prince Mo Jie, one of the 7 minor thearchs, had been pierced through by the god's weeping halberd. He had been nailed to death on War God Mountain. The impact and shock made many people's hearts churn, and they couldn't come back to their senses for a long time. Everyone's gazes once again fell upon the white-haired man in snow-white robes. Could it be that he was confident that he could kill Prince Emogia? Is that why he was so calm? Many people felt a chill in their hearts when they thought of this. It was as if a basin of cold water had been poured down their spines. This man was too powerful and too terrifying. He had nailed Prince Emogia to death on War God Mountain with a halberd. Who could be so domineering and bold? Jun Xiaoyao looked indifferent. As early as when Prince Emogia issued the challenge, his fate had already been decided. It was Prince Emogia's fault for running into the muzzle of the gun. Jun Xiaoyao needed to make a big scene. And if the 7 minor thearchs of the foreign domain grew up, they would definitely be a disaster for the deity region in the future. Jun Xiaoyao could kill one of them in advance. It was also a gain for him. Jun Xiaoyao walked in front of Prince Emogia. Many bloodlines appeared on the body of the god's weeping halberd and pierced into Prince Emogia's dead body, sucking his essence dry. Jun Xiaoyao slowly pulled out the god's weeping halberd. It shook slightly. Blood and flesh scattered. Jun Xiaoyao stood on the top of War God Mountain and looked around. Prince Bian, Li Jiui, Pu Yao and the others lowered their heads slightly, not daring to look at Jun Xiaoyao. The other disciples of War God Academy also lowered their heads. As for Tushan Wanwan, Tushan Chunchun and Su Hongyi, their eyes were bright and filled with admiration. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao, who could suppress everyone with his gaze, Mu Lao also sighed deeply. The chaotic body had just formed. I'll give anyone the right to challenge me, but I can't guarantee your lives. Jun Xiaoyao's voice was faint, but it spread throughout the vast expanse of heaven and earth. When everyone heard this, they were first shocked, then they gasped in awe. The foreign side worshipped the strong, martial strength was supreme. Jun Xiaoyao's performance had undoubtedly won over everyone present. One could well imagine that after this battle, Jun Xiaoyao's reputation would reach the peak of the foreign side. Even the other 7 minor emperors would pale in comparison to Jun Xiaoyao. If they were to find out that the person they worshipped was actually someone from the immortal realms, they would definitely be shocked. At that time, it would definitely topple the 3 views of all foreign creatures. Of course, that was a story for another day. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao held the god's weeping halberd in his hand. His white hair danced in the wind, and his temperament was peerless. He did not relax in the slightest because he knew that things were not over yet. Prince Emogia had misjudged his strength and the power of the god's weeping halberd. That was why he had died in vain. However, it was clear that the Magia imperial clan behind him would not give up. Little friend is still too impulsive. Elder Mu frowned deeply. Jun Xiaoyao's performance was shocking. However, his actions were a little impulsive. Rumble. Heaven and earth shook, and the wind and clouds suddenly changed. Unparalleled killing intent surged. That was the anger of the Magia imperial clan's great figures. They also did not expect that their prince would be instantly killed in one move. Because it was too sudden, they did not even have time to prepare. Brat, you're courting death. In the endless void, a blurry figure appeared, emitting a quasi-immortal aura. It was terrifying beyond compare. That was a quasi-immortal from the Magia imperial clan. He was projected in the void, emitting a monstrous anger. Who would have thought that the battle on War God Mountain would cause Prince Emogia to lose his life? A large hand pressed down, and endless runes fell down like a waterfall, crushing the void and messing up space. The anger of a quasi-immortal shook heaven and earth. Sir, please wait. This is War God Academy. Elder Mu's eyelids twitched as he exclaimed. Although Jun Xiaoyao killed Prince Emogia, he had a chaotic body and was a quasi-war god conferred by War God Academy. Not to mention now, Jun Xiaoyao even pulled out the god's tier battle halberd. He could be said to be the successor of the first-generation war god. If he was killed by the quasi-immortal of the Magia imperial clan, the loss would be immeasurable. Facing the pressure of a quasi-immortal, Jun Xiaoyao's white hair fluttered, and his white robe fluttered. With the god's tear battle halberd in his hand, his expression was as calm as water. The reason why Jun Xiaoyao was so decisive and killed Prince Emojia was because, other than being one of the 7 little emperors, there was another reason. It was because Jun Xiaoyao was gambling. He was gambling on how Luo Xiangling would react. Would he be willing to support him and fight for him? Rumble. The quasi-immortal's hand of law pressed down. At this moment, billions of runes surged out from the void like a tidal wave and collided with the hand of the laws. The quasi-immortal of the Majia imperial clan snorted. A peerlessly beautiful figure appeared in the sky. She wore a plain gauze overcoat and a smoky long skirt. Her clothes fluttered, and her long blue hair fluttered in the wind. Her exquisite and beautiful facial features were a work of art. Her snow-white skin was as gentle as mutton-fat jade. She was tall, with a slim waist. Her beautiful legs were straight and slender under her skirt. She looked like the goddess of Luo, the goddess of river and Luo. Light rain swirled around her, accentuating her beauty. All the male sky prides were stunned. "It's King Luo. Is this King Luo? She's too beautiful." Many people exclaimed in shock. They were all stunned. Not to mention the male sky prides, even the female sky prides couldn't help but be stunned. For many people, this was the first time they saw Luo Xiangling. After all, she was famous for keeping a low profile and rarely walked out of the purple bamboo forest. Seeing Luo Xiangling come, Elder Mu secretly heaved a sigh of relief. At least Luo Xiangling wouldn't watch Jun Xiaoyao get into trouble. After all, their relationship, King Luo, what's the meaning of this? In the void, the quasi-immortal projection of the Majia monarch clan asked coldly. Luo Xiangling's eyes were sparkling, but it was only limited to when she looked at Jun Xiaoyao. At this moment, she raised her head. Her swan-like snow-white neck was like jade. Her eyes were like a biting cold wind. "Xiaoyao is under my protection." Her voice was like a clear waterfall, but her words were more domineering than a man's. All the living beings around War God Mountain widened their eyes. Their mouths were opened so wide that an egg could be stuffed in. Luo Xiangling usually interacted with Jun Xiaoyao and didn't put on the airs of an expert. However, if she was serious, she would be a true queen, a strong woman. "Why do I feel a little envious?" some sky pride said sourly. "With King Luo's protection, what's the point of cultivating? Lord King Luo, I don't want to work hard either." He felt many envious gazes fall on him. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes had a hint of relief. It seemed that his strategy during this period of time was still useful. Not to mention Luo Xiangling's feelings for him. At least, even when facing a quasi-immortal from the monarch clan, Luo Xiangling would stand up for him. That was enough. Chapter 968. Luo King, are you really going to become enemies with my Mo-Jia imperial clan for this child? Seeing Luo Xiangling standing in front of Jun Xiaoyao. In the void, the Mo-Jia imperial clan's quasi-immortal said coldly. Luo Xiangling was not an ordinary person. Among the quasi-immortals, she was extremely strong. Not to mention, she was an ancient supreme of Ares Academy. Even the Mo-Jia imperial clan could not bully her. Everyone's gaze fell on Luo Xiangling. After all, Luo Xiangling was going to offend an entire immortal emperor clan for Jun Xiaoyao. This was no small matter. Even if Luo Xiangling had the backing of Ares Academy, offending an entire immortal emperor clan was not a good thing. Will Luo King offend the Mo-Jia imperial clan for a primal chaos body? Many people were curious. Not everyone had the courage to fight the emperor clans head-on. At this moment, a calm voice sounded. "Everyone, there's no need to make things so tense." As the voice sounded, a middle-aged man dressed in green and gold robes with green wings appeared. His quasi-immortal aura spread out. It was Fufeng of Gojoseon, another quasi-immortal from Ares Academy. Many of the Ares Academy's disciples were excited. Who would have thought that the battle between the primal chaos body and Prince Emojia would attract the appearance of three quasi-immortals? Seeing Fufeng of Gojoseon appear, the quasi-immortal from Emojia Imperial clan's expression turned even colder. He was only a projection. He could not even deal with Luo King, let alone Fufeng of Gojoseon. However, to everyone's surprise, Fufeng of Gojoseon looked at Luo King with a smile. Luo King, I feel that the Emojia Imperial clan is in the right. Why don't we temporarily hand over the primal chaos body to them? Fufeng of Gojoseon's words caused everyone to fall silent. Many people thought that Fufeng of Gojoseon had appeared to stand on Luo King's side and support the primal chaos body. Who would have thought that they would come to undermine him? Fufeng of Gojoseon, you in Luo Xiangling's eyes, a biting cold wind and snow was surging. She had underestimated the narrow-mindedness of Fufeng of Gojoseon. As for Jun Xiaoyao, a cold glint flashed in his eyes. Fufeng of Gojoseon had already been recorded in his death notebook. In the future, he would suffer. Luo King, it was indeed the Chaos Body's fault. Who told him to kill Prince Emojia? Our Ares Academy should be reasonable. Fufeng of Gojoseon was still smiling. But this smile made Luo Xiangling's beautiful face even colder. Can you represent the Ares Academy? Luo Xiangling declined to comment. Fufeng of Gojoseon's face stiffened as he looked at Jun Xiaoyao. Xiaoyao, do you really want the Luo King to offend the immortal emperors for you? Back then, it was because the Luo King recognized you that you were able to become a quasi-war god. Now you want to implicate the Luo King. Where is your conscience? Fufeng of Gojoseon's words were sarcastic. Many people in the surroundings felt that something was amiss. Fufeng of Gojoseon seemed to have a special enmity towards Jun Xiaoyao. Sigh. Elder Mu sighed deeply. He understood why Fufeng of Gojoseon was targeting Jun Xiaoyao. After all, Fufeng of Gojoseon was an old bootlicker of the Luo King. It was normal for him to be hostile towards Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao's expression did not change. But he could not help but admire that quasi-immortal emperors were all sly old foxes. There was nothing wrong with Fufeng of Gojoseon's words. If it was someone else, they might have been speechless and unable to refute. But Jun Xiaoyao could beat them at their own game. He could use Fufeng of Gojoseon's momentum to show off in front of Luo Xiangling. Moreover, he still had one last trick up his sleeve. This was something that Fufeng of Gojoseon would never have expected. Let's see who will be the one slapping whose face in the end. Jun Xiaoyao sneered in his heart. On the surface, Jun Xiaoyao sighed softly. He walked forward slowly, stretched out his hand, and grabbed Luo Xiangling's jade-like hand. Xiangling, Senior Fufeng of Gojoseon is right. I will bear the consequences of my own actions. Let me bear the consequences of my own actions. This scene caused the atmosphere to freeze. It was not because Jun Xiaoyao's words were shocking. It was because he addressed Luo Xiangling so intimately. And he even held Luo Xiangling's jade-like hand. Luo Xiangling's hand was soft as if boneless. Her skin was delicate, and her fingers were long and slender. It was so delicate that it was like a work of art. And this hand that had never been held by anyone before was now held by Jun Xiaoyao. Xiaoyao you. Luo Xiangling's heart skipped a beat. Her delicate body actually stiffened a little. This was Luo Xiangling's first time being held by someone else. Even a quasi-immortal emperor who was high above felt a little confused at this moment. After all, Luo Xiangling was a beautiful old lady who had been single for tens of thousands of years. She had never had such contact with anyone of the opposite sex. Although she had spent some time with Jun Xiaoyao before, it was very appropriate and they did not have any contact. Fufeng of Gojoseon saw this scene and almost exploded. Even as a quasi-immortal emperor, he could not calm down. His mental state was about to break. He loved Luo Wang and pursued her for a long time. But forget about touching Luo Xiangling. He had never even been within 3 feet of Luo Xiangling. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao actually took the opportunity to hold Luo Xiangling's hand. And the way he addressed her was so intimate. This made Fufeng of Gojoseon's face turn green. He took a deep breath and controlled his emotions. He could not lose his composure. Xiaoyao Fufeng of Gojoseon was simply a victim of his own cleverness. He was checkmated by Jun Xiaoyao. Xiaoyao, I'm here. I won't let anything happen to you. Luo Xiangling did not break free from Jun Xiaoyao's hand. Xiangling, leave it to me. How can a man stand behind a woman? In the future, if Xiaoyao grows into a peerless warrior, he still wants to protect Xiangling. Jun Xiaoyao smiled, looking dashing and handsome. Luo Xiangling's heart skipped a beat. Logically speaking, a quasi-immortal emperor should be able to control his emotions freely. But Luo Xiangling's snow-white face still turned red involuntarily. Everyone who saw this scene was dumbfounded. Damn, he was too good at flirting. So handsome. Boo-hoo, I'm so envious of Luo Wang. Many women were jealous. As for the men, they sighed. If I had 1/10 of the chaotic body's EQ, would I still be single? Tushan Wanwan, Tushan Chunchun, and the other women saw this and were jealous. They also wanted to be held by Jun Xiaoyao like this. Jun Xiaoyao pulled Luo Xiangling behind him. He was facing the Mo Jie Imperial Clan quasi-immortal expert in the sky. Looks like you're still responsible. The quasi-immortal Emperor Mo Jie said coldly. I wonder if the quasi-immortal level master of the Majie Imperial Clan would dare to make a bet with me? Jun Xiaoyao asked with a smile. What? The quasi-immortal Emperor Mo Jie said coldly. Jun Xiaoyao was less than an ant in front of him. He was not afraid that Jun Xiaoyao would play any trick. I'm willing to take one move from you. After one move, life and death is up to fate. Jun Xiaoyao's words were deafening, resounding between heaven and earth. Chapter 969. Everyone was dumbfounded. A pseudo-supreme was going to take a pseudo-undying's attack. What was the difference between this and death? Xiaoyao, don't. Luo Xiangling was also slightly pale. As a pseudo-undying, she understood what this realm represented and what kind of power it had. It could be said that even Chaos Dao Master was not qualified to say such words in front of a pseudo-undying. As for Jun Xiaoyao, he was just a pseudo-supreme. Not to mention one attack. A pseudo-undying could kill a pseudo-supreme countless times with a breath. Jun Xiaoyao's action was even more ridiculous than hitting a rock with an egg. What a joke! Fufeng of Gojoseon muttered, his eyes revealing a cold sneer. He was also a pseudo-undying, so he naturally understood how stupid Jun Xiaoyao's challenge was. Oh! Even the pseudo-undying of the Mo Jie family was surprised. He did not understand how Jun Xiaoyao had the guts to say such words. Your confidence comes from the mysterious undying behind you? The pseudo-undying of the Mo Jie family said coldly. Everyone knew that there seemed to be a mysterious undying behind the chaos body. If it wasn't for that undying, the other undying imperial clans would have already set their eyes on the chaos body. This bet only concerns the two of us, nothing else, Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. Okay. The pseudo-undying of the Mo Jie family was also very straightforward, without any hesitation. Jun Xiaoyao's carefree and straightforward manner actually made him admire him a little. However, since Jun Xiaoyao had killed Prince Mo Jie, there was no possibility of reconciliation between him and the Mo Jie family. Rumble. The pseudo-undying of the Mo Jie family directly stretched out a palm. Although this pseudo-undying was only a projection right now, the power of his technique was enough to destroy the heavens and earth. 5 fingers, like pillars supporting the heavens, seemed to encompass the sun, moon, and stars. This was a top-tier great technique of the Mo Jie family, heaven-covering hand. When executed by an expert, it was said to be able to overturn the heavens, encompassing everything within the palm of one's hand. The void was unable to bear the burden, and cracking sounds could be heard as it collapsed inch by inch. The entire War God Mountain was shaking as runes appeared and circulated. This was enough to show how powerful this move was. As for Jun Xiaoyao, his white robes fluttered in the wind. Holding the god's weeping halberd in one hand, his white hair danced in the air. His temperament was peerless, as if a white-robed divine king had descended into the world. Whoosh! Jun Xiaoyao slashed out with the god's tear halberd. He slashed towards the gigantic palm that could overturn the heavens. He was like the great sage of the demon race, who rebelled against the Buddha in the legends. Xiaoyao! Young master! Sir! Luo Xiangling, Tushan Wanwan, Tushan Chunchun, Su Hongyi, and Fei Qingxue were startled. Prince Bian, Li Jiui, Pu Yao, and the other Heavenly King stage geniuses were also staring fixedly. Jun Xiaoyao could be said to be their nightmare. If this nightmare ended today, it would naturally be the best result. Is there any suspense? Fufeng of Gojoseon saw this and shook his head slightly. A quasi-supreme fighting a quasi-immortal level was even more laughable than a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Tens of thousands of gazes gathered, and the heavens and earth went silent. Bang! It was accompanied by a dull sound. Jun Xiaoyao's entire body was caught by the gigantic palm and wrapped within it. Xiaoyao. Luo Xiangling's beautiful face was pale, and she couldn't help but want to attack. Luo King, this is his own choice. Fufeng of Gojoseon blocked it at the right time. Tushan Wanwan and the other girls were also pale. Elder Mu's hand was also tightly clenched. Now that Jun Xiaoyao had pulled out the god's tear halberd, to a certain extent, he could be considered a member of Ares Academy. This was because the Ares Academy was founded by the first god of war. Chaos Body. It's a supreme honor to die in my hands, the quasi-immortal level Maggia Emperor said lightly. However, the quasi-immortal level Maggia Emperor clan suddenly felt that something was wrong. Rumble. Above the sky, dark clouds pressed down, and layers of clouds rolled. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled, and incomparably thick thunderbolts roared like angry dragons. Amidst the turmoil of the heavens and earth, a huge dark hexagram mark appeared above the sky of the foreign territory. The dark hexagram slowly rotated, bringing with it an ancient, mysterious, dark, vast, and domineering aura. This is, the tens of thousands of foreign creatures present all widened their eyes, and their thoughts were somewhat stagnant. Most of the foreign creatures present had high statuses. Naturally, they knew about the legend of the World Destruction Six Kings. And a while ago, a dark hexagram mark also appeared in the sky. What this scene represented, all of the other side's creatures were well aware of. The dark sequence. The World Destruction Six Kings. Only the apocalyptic Six Kings, who could bring calamity to the immortal realms, could manifest the dark hexagram mark. Could it be that the Chaos Body is one of the dark sequence, one of the World Destruction Six Kings? The brains of the foreign creatures present were somewhat short-circuited, unable to imagine. The Chaos Body itself was already legendary enough. Ever since it appeared in the world, it had never tasted defeat. And he even pulled out the first-generation War God's weeping war halberd. But now he was actually one of the dark sequence, one of the World Destruction Six Kings. This was too dreamy, a little unbelievable. Mr. is actually one of the World Destruction Six Kings? Tushan Chuanchuan's eyes widened, and she was also very surprised. Suddenly, she remembered the first time she saw Jun Xiaoyao. It was indeed in the Heavenly Tomb. Jun Xiaoyao also said that he came from the Heavenly Tomb. With such a mysterious origin, it was reasonable to say that he was one of the World Destruction Six Kings. I understand, no wonder Mr. came from the Heavenly Tomb. He is actually a sleeping dark sequence, one of the World Destruction Six Kings. Tushan Chuanchuan's eyes lit up. What did you say? Tushan Wanwan was also shocked. She didn't expect Jun Xiaoyao's origin to be so mysterious. Boom. Just as everyone was stunned by the dark hexagram phenomenon, a voice suddenly rang out. The giant palm that covered the sky suddenly trembled. Then, thousands of black lights tore out and pierced through the giant palm. Accompanied by an earth-shattering boom, a white-clothed, white-haired figure with a halberd in his hand appeared again. Behind Jun Xiaoyao, a blurry figure could be vaguely seen. He also held the god's weeping war halberd in his hand and stood above the sky, emitting an incomparably domineering aura. It was as if all the worlds in the heavens were under his feet. The first-generation war god. Elder Mu shouted loudly and bowed 90 degrees to Jun Xiaoyao. It's the first-generation war god. Greetings, war god. In all directions, endless uproars surged like raging waves. The first-generation war god could be said to be a symbol of Ares Academy, a belief. No one could slander the first-generation war god. How is this possible? This child is actually one of the World Destruction Six Kings. Even the quasi-immortal from the Magia Imperial clan was shocked. If it was just a chaotic body and a quasi-war god, the Magia Imperial clan would have the right to punish him. But now, on Jun Xiaoyao's wrist, the dark hexagram mark emitted a hazy black light, revealing his identity as one of the World Destruction Six Kings. In addition, the first-generation war god phantom in the god's weeping war halberd was activated, blocking the power of his heaven-covering hand. Now, it would be extremely difficult to avenge Prince Emogia. This is troublesome. The quasi-immortal from the Magia Imperial clan frowned. The World Destruction Six Kings could grow into the legendary kings of the foreign land. Even the Magia Imperial clan didn't have the right to punish a dark king. Magia Imperial clan, the overall situation is more important. Nothing must happen to the World Destruction Six Kings. Suddenly, an ancient voice rang out from the depths of the Ares Academy. Immortal King! All living beings cried out in alarm. Had the Immortal King in the depths of Ares Academy finally expressed his stance? He wanted to stand on Jun Xiaoyao's side and support him. Chapter 970. War God Academy was a top academy in the foreign realm. There were naturally immortal kings among them. Of course, it was an academy after all, so there couldn't be many immortal kings. But even an immortal king was extremely intimidating, and no one dared to provoke him. And at this moment, in the depths of War God Academy, the immortal king who almost didn't care about worldly affairs spoke, saying that he wanted to protect Jun Xiaoyao. This weight was much heavier than Luo Xiangling. After all, although the status of a quasi-immortal was high, compared to a true immortal king, there was still some difference. Otherwise, the Scarlet Owl clan wouldn't have been promoted to a quasi-emperor clan just because of a Scarlet Owl king. In the sky, the quasi-immortal projection of the Magia Emperor clan was shrouded in a blurry aura. However, even with that being the case, one could still sense the seriousness of his expression. Jun Xiaoyao's identity could be said to be unexpected. And there was another person present whose expression was very ugly. Naturally, it was Fufeng of Gojoseon. How is this possible? How can he be one of the 6 destruction kings? Fufeng of Gojoseon was in disbelief. In the beginning, he didn't treat Jun Xiaoyao as an opponent, because the gap between Jun Xiaoyao and him was too big. But now, Jun Xiaoyao's identity as one of the 6 destruction kings was exposed. In addition to his chaos body's monstrous aptitude, when he grew up in the future, he would at least be an immortal king. In that case, wouldn't he really be worthy of Luo Xiangling? This kid hid this trump card from the beginning. Was he playing with me? He understood that Jun Xiaoyao was beating him at his own game. Previously, he said that Jun Xiaoyao stood behind a woman and implicated Luo Xiangling. Where was his conscience? Jun Xiaoyao went along with the flow and stepped forward bravely. Not only did he hold Luo Xiangling's hand, but he also gained a wave of favorability. On the other hand, he exposed his identity as one of the 6 Destruction Kings, causing the quasi-immortal of the Maggia Emperor clan to be unable to do anything to him. With this move, the clown was actually Fufeng of Gojoseon himself. When he thought of this, even Fufeng of Gojoseon, who was a quasi-immortal level expert, could not help but lose his composure. As a pseudo-immortal realm warrior, he was toyed with by a junior. Where would he put his face? Fufeng of Gojoseon's eyes were filled with coldness. It was only now that he truly began to take Jun Xiaoyao seriously. Behind Jun Xiaoyao, Luo Xiangling was also surprised by his identity. However, she heaved a sigh of relief and turned to the Mo-Jie quasi-undying, saying coldly, "Do you still want to attack now?" The Mo-Jie Emperor race's pseudo-undyings weren't rash people. He knew that today's matter wasn't easy to resolve. To offend our Maggia Imperial clan, this chess move of yours is not a good one. The Mo-Jie Imperial clan quasi-undying took a deep look at Jun Xiaoyao before his projection dissipated. It was clear that he couldn't make a decision on this matter. He needed to discuss it with the Mo-Jie Imperial clan's undying. As the Mo-Jie quasi-undying left, the atmosphere of heaven and earth also relaxed. What followed were many curious, passionate, worshipful, and fearful gazes. Prince Bian, Li Jiuming, and the others' expressions were very stiff and unnatural. Tushan Wan and the other girls' faces were filled with worship and admiration. After all, the revelation of Jun Xiaoyao's identity was really exciting. First, he was the inheritor of the first-generation war god's will. Then, he was the Dark Echelon, one of the 6 Destruction Kings. Jun Xiaoyao was simply a perfect overlap with the image of the hero in their hearts. He even surpassed it. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm, but he heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. Previously, he wasn't sure how much of a deterrent his identity as one of the 6 Annihilation Kings would be. Could it suppress the immortal Emperor race? Now, it seemed that Jun Xiaoyao still underestimated the identity of the 6 Destruction Kings. In the foreign realm, they were indeed respected. Jun Xiaoyao wanted to mourn for the man in the heavenly tomb. He could have displayed his power in this era. However, as soon as he climbed out of the tomb, he was killed by Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao put away the god's weeping battle halberd, and the blood vessels also retracted into the body of the halberd. There was no trace left on Jun Xiaoyao's arm. His white hair had also returned to its original black color. This is indeed a demonic weapon, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. When using the god's weeping battle halberd, it actually needed to absorb the blood of the weapon owner. Of course, the stronger the bloodline power of the weapon owner, the stronger the power of the god's weeping battle halberd. However, if that was the case, Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't care too much about the god's weeping battle halberd. He always felt that the god's weeping battle halberd had a deeper meaning, and it might be related to some big secret. Of course, Jun Xiaoyao wasn't in a hurry to find out the secret of the god's weeping battle halberd. After putting away the god's weeping battle halberd, Jun Xiaoyao looked around. No one dared to look directly at Jun Xiaoyao among the geniuses of the same generation. After all, he was a ruthless person who could even kill Prince Mo-Jie with one strike of his halberd. Even Prince Higan and the others turned their gazes away with stiff expressions. Only one gaze had a gloomy sharpness. It was from Fufeng of Gojoseon. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed with coldness. Fufeng of Gojoseon. He had plenty of ways to deal with him in the future. Everyone, the show is over. Let's disperse. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao's calm appearance, all the geniuses sighed. He could still be so calm after killing 7 young emperor-level geniuses and confronting a quasi-immortal level expert. His temperament was simply amazing. Xiangling, thank you very much. Jun Xiaoyao turned around and looked at Luo Xiangling. In fact, the reason why he killed Prince Mo-Jie so decisively this time. Another reason was that he wanted to see how Luo Xiangling would treat him. Would she offend the immortal emperor clan for him? Now it seemed that Luo Xiangling was a little interested in him. You don't have to do that. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao's sincere and deep eyes, Luo Xiangling didn't know how to respond for a moment. She could only give him a perfunctory answer. Do you want to come to my place? Jun Xiaoyao said. Luo Xiangling nodded slightly. The two of them went far away. Tushan, Chunchun, and the other girls also followed. Fufeng of Gojoseon saw this scene and turned to leave expressionlessly. In terms of cultivation, he was indeed far superior to Jun Xiaoyao for the time being. But in terms of flirting, he was stubborn and couldn't even get close to Jun Xiaoyao. The incident on War God Mountain was temporarily over, but the impact it had was extremely far-reaching. He pulled out the god's weeping halberd. He killed Prince Emojia instantly. He was a quasi-immortal level expert. The identity of the 6 Annihilation Kings was exposed. Each of these incidents alone was enough to cause a stir in a state. Not to mention that all 4 major incidents happened with Jun Xiaoyao. This simply caused a stir in all 10 states. In the Demon Abyss state, the Forbidden Land of the Ancients, the Heavenly Barrier Blood Abyss. A stone coffin floated in the endless sea of blood. It absorbed the power of the many bloody bones in the sea of blood. In the stone coffin, there was a mist of blood. One could vaguely see a delicate figure lying in it. It seems that the first king has already pulled out his apocalyptic forbidden weapon. I will also get my apocalyptic forbidden weapon. At that time, when I gather the 6 apocalyptic forbidden weapons, I will be able to open the path to the depths of the Avacania lands and obtain the true inheritance of the 6 Annihilation Kings. Very soon, First King, I will be able to see you. Wait for me, she muttered to herself in a coquettish voice, filled with temptation and anticipation. Chapter 971. The incident at War God Mountain had shaken the entire 10 great provinces of the foreign realm. Especially when Jun Xiaoyao's identity as one of the 6 World Annihilation Kings was exposed. It also made everyone think of the dark 6-pointed star phenomenon that appeared in the sky some time ago. It was only then that everyone realized that the anomaly was caused by Jun Xiaoyao. Many top royal clans, boundary emperor clans, and even immortal emperor clans sent people to War God Academy to meet Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao had truly become a hot commodity at the moment. Because if nothing unexpected happened, Jun Xiaoyao would definitely become a world annihilator king in the future. At the very least, he would be an immortal king. In addition, he had the chaotic physique. This was almost a certainty. If they were able to get Jun Xiaoyao on their side, it would be extremely beneficial for any clan. Even immortal emperor clans would be envious and unable to maintain their high and mighty indifference. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not meet any of these envoys. In Jun Xiaoyao's residence, Jun Xiaoyao was sitting opposite Luo Xiangling. There was a game of Go in the middle and tea beside it. The two of them were playing Go and drinking tea. As for Tushan Chunchun and the others, because of Luo Xiangling, they did not dare to disturb them. After all, Luo Xiangling was an ordinary woman in front of Jun Xiaoyao. However, in front of others, she was the high and mighty Luo King. Xiaoyao, over the past few days, several immortal emperor clans have wanted to visit you, but you have rejected them. If you casually agree, they can help you resist the pressure from the Majia Emperor clan. Luo Xiangling took a sip of tea and said. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly and said, "What's the point of caring about those ordinary things? Being able to play Go and drink tea with you is where the joy of life lies." Hearing this, Luo Xiangling lowered her eyes slightly. Her delicate eyelashes were like butterfly wings. A faint blush appeared on her delicate cheek. For some reason, she became more and more shy when she was with Jun Xiaoyao. "Xiaoyao, you will grow up to be a great figure in the future. At that time, I might even be inferior to you," Luo Xiangling joked, as if to hide his emotions. However, what she said was indeed the truth. Luo Xiangling was currently stuck in a bottleneck. It was extremely difficult for him to break through and become an immortal king. But Jun Xiaoyao, with his monstrous talent, was destined to become immortal. It's all thanks to you, Xiangling, that I could develop so smoothly. If I had a way, I would definitely help you break through to the immortal level. As Jun Xiaoyao spoke, his hand silently covered Luo Xiangling's hand. Luo Xiangling's delicate body went limp, but she didn't withdraw her hand. Xiaoyao, it's enough that you have the heart. Luo Xiangling's sparkling earlobes turned slightly red. Jun Xiaoyao's acting skills could be said to be flawless. His flirting skills were maxed out. However, Jun Xiaoyao's words weren't all lies. He did want to help Luo Xiangling break through to the immortal level. This way, he would be able to rope in a true immortal king. This was very important to Jun Xiaoyao. In the future, it would be much more convenient for Jun Xiaoyao to do things in the foreign realm. At this moment, Fei Qingshue's voice came from outside the door. "Young master, Elder Mu is here." Hearing this, Luo Xiangling subconsciously withdrew her hand. Her face actually had a hint of a young girl's blush. However, Luo Xiangling's appearance was unparalleled. Even if her age was that of an old auntie, she was still very beautiful. But at this moment, her slightly shy and delicate appearance was exceptionally seductive. Compared to a young girl who had just experienced her first awakening of love, she was even more delicate and alluring. Master Mu walked in and saw the shy look on Luo Xiangling's face. His heart skipped a beat. He thought to himself that he had come at the wrong time. "Elder Mu, what's the matter?" Jun Xiaoyao asked. "It's like this. If there are no accidents, you will receive the true God of War title," Elder Mu said. Jun Xiaoyao wasn't surprised by this. He had even pulled out the god's weeping war halberd. It was natural for him to receive the God of War title. However, the training at the border is about to begin. So, the God of War title and the banquet might have to wait until after you return from the border, Elder Mu said. That doesn't matter. Jun Xiaoyao didn't mind. In fact, he wasn't interested in this so-called God of War title. It was just that this title made it convenient for him to do things in the foreign realm. Everyone in the academy is looking forward to your performance at the border. After all, a titled God of War can't be too weak. Otherwise, you will be criticized easily, Elder Mu said tactfully. Don't worry, Boss Mu. I know what to do, Jun Xiaoyao said. However, you still have to be careful in this trip to the border. There are also some top figures in the Nine Heavens Immortal Academy. I also received news that there seems to be a seed-level chaotic body in the immortal realm. Elder Mu's tone was serious. Who would have thought that there would be two chaotic bodies in this generation? Jun Xiaoyao chuckled to himself. He didn't have the chaotic body. He just had the chaotic green lotus physique that was similar to the chaotic body. As for the chaotic body in the immortal realm, he was also very curious. Who was stronger and who was weaker? Oh right, there's another very important matter. In the border, there are some ruins left behind by our world's undying. There are some strange movements. That ruin is called the Great Blood Sacrifice Ground. It's related to a forbidden undying. You have to be careful, Elder Mu said. I understand. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. The Great Blood Sacrifice Ground. Just from the name alone, there must be some secret. Moreover, it was related to a forbidden undying. Jun Xiaoyao guessed that he should have a big discovery in there. After the matter was finished, Elder Mu left. Luo Xiangling's watery eyes showed a hint of worry. Xiaoyao, the border is not a good place. Even if I accompany you, I may not be able to protect you, Luo Xiangling said worriedly. The desolate border battlefield was a vast land of chaotic laws. It was located at the gap between the two worlds. Moreover, if there really was a conflict, it would definitely be soldiers against soldiers, generals against generals. The quasi-immortal level undying on the foreign side would also confront the quasi-immortal level undying on the immortal realm side. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao and the others could only rely on themselves. Xiangling, don't worry. I can't always rely on your protection, Jun Xiaoyao said. This time, he also had things to do in the border. It was not suitable for Luo Xiangling to follow him. Several days later, Jun Xiaoyao sat cross-legged in his residence. Within his inner universe, countless dots of light continuously converged on the seed of faith. That was the power of faith of countless slave race creatures. Tuoba Yu, as a tool, was very responsible. However, Jun Xiaoyao had not heard any news of the slave race rebelling. Presumably, that level of rebellion could not attract the attention of the high-level experts of the foreign territory. However, this was even better. It gave Tuoba Yu time to expand wildly. The only drawback was that although the power of faith provided by the slave race creatures was pure, the amount was a bit small. On the other hand, the power of faith of the Ice Spirit royal family became purer as time passed. The power of faith provided by a powerhouse was enough to match thousands of slave race creatures. Jun Xiaoyao planned to have the Ice Spirit royal family spread their teachings to the other royal families when his influence was at its peak. At that time, the power of faith that Jun Xiaoyao received would welcome a wave of explosive growth. Jun Xiaoyao did not pay attention to the seed of faith anymore. He continued to wait for it to sprout. In addition, the celestial tree had also borne fruit. The human-shaped celestial fruits were crystal clear, like ginseng fruits, and contained the power of law. Next is to break through to the supremacy level. In addition to my own comprehension, I also need the assistance of more law fragments, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. It was obviously not enough to rely on the law fragments provided by the celestial fruit. Oh right, there are many mysterious areas in the desolate border. Maybe I can find things like law fragments. When the time comes, I can condense the law of the physical body and directly break through to the supremacy level. Jun Xiaoyao had a plan in mind. The trip to the desolate border was bound to be fruitful. Chapter 972. The battle at the desolate border was about to begin. The entire War God Academy was in an uproar. All of the War God Academy disciples were rubbing their fists, eager to show off their skills. Amidst this atmosphere, the news of Jun Xiaoyao being conferred the title of War God by War God Academy spread. No one was surprised. The title of War God was passed down from the first War God to begin with. Now that Jun Xiaoyao pulled out the god's weeping war halberd, it was only natural that he was conferred the title of War God. Under the leadership of the War God, our War God Academy will definitely defeat the enemy at the desolate border. That's right, how can those weak creatures from the celestial domain stop the flood of our world? As the news of Jun Xiaoyao being conferred the title of War God spread, the entire War God Academy's atmosphere was completely stirred up. Not good, the War God conferred with the primal chaos physique, one of the 6 world destruction kings himself. Such a terrifying genius actually appeared in the other side. We need to quickly send this news back to the celestial domain, warn them, or else there will be a huge problem. The celestial domain's younger generation will suffer great losses. On a certain great province in the other side, there were creatures with serious expressions. They were spies from the celestial domain who were undercover in the other side. It was as if the celestial domain's side had spies from the other side. On the other side, there would naturally be spies from the celestial domain lying in wait, collecting all kinds of information. One could imagine what kind of huge commotion it would stir up if the news of this heaven-defying primal chaos physique was sent back to the celestial domain, while the other side was preparing to set out. 9 Heavens, immortal domain. An immortal island floated in the void. It was called an island, but in reality, it was no different from a continent. This immortal island was enshrouded in immortal energy, shrouded in radiance, clouds rising and rosy. There were springs and waterfalls, steep and strange peaks. Many heavenly palaces and jade palaces decorated the sky above the immortal island in picturesque disorder. All kinds of precious herbs and flowers covered the great peak. Immortal birds and strange beasts leapt into the mountain streams. It was like a paradise on earth, a scene of immortals. This was precisely the location of the celestial domain's highest academy, Nine Heavens Immortal Academy. Nine Heavens Immortal Academy, it wasn't above the nine immortal domains, but rather in the void. It established Immortal Island, absorbing the heroes of the nine heavens. The Nine Heavens Immortal Realm was basically a sacred cultivation ground for the young cultivators. Only the most talented Heaven's favorites could enter to cultivate. Meanwhile, deep inside the Nine Heavens Immortal Institute, inside a palace shrouded in immortal light, more than 10 elders were sitting in the hall with their legs crossed. Even the weakest among them was a supreme mystic venerate. They were all elders of the Nine Heavens Immortal Academy. At this moment, an elder seated at the head seat had a serious expression, saying, "The foreign side's spies have sent back news. The foreign side's sleeping imperial princes and heavenly ladies are also gradually waking up. In the future, they will clash with my Immortal Academy's disciples in desolate border. However, this isn't the most important thing. The most important thing is that a battle god has appeared in the Ares Academy. His background is extremely shocking." "Oh, what's his background?" All the elders present were curious. No matter how great his background was, he was just a junior. Although he had received the title of war god, it was impossible for him to affect the overall situation of the two worlds too much. "The young man who received the title of war god has a chaotic body," the elder said. "What?" These words surprised some of the elders. A chaotic body appearing in the foreign side was indeed no small matter. If he grew up, he would bring great losses to the immortal domain. Although the chaotic body is unparalleled throughout the ages, it's not like our immortal domain doesn't have one, an elder said. These words made many of the elders present nod slightly. On the immortal domain side, there was indeed a chaotic body that was sleeping in the chaotic door. Although he hadn't appeared yet, his followers, Sun Saint Protector and Moon Saint Protector, were both in the Nine Heavens Immortal Institute. As for the Star Saint Protector, he had long been killed by Jun Xiaoyao in the original Emperor City. Back then, it was also that Star Saint Protector who instigated the Gatekeeper clan to capture Yu Chanwan and use her as a furnace to offer to the chaotic body. If it's just the chaotic body, I wouldn't say anything. The problem is that he has another identity. What identity? One of the 6 world destruction kings, the elder seated at the head seat said with a cold expression. These words made the entire hall fall into a deathly silence. Many elders' eyelids twitched. The 6 world destruction kings of Doomsday legend. This legend wasn't only circulated in the other side. On the immortal domain side, even though most people didn't know about it. However, these higher-level figures still knew about it. The great gap that was blasted open at the border had a part of the power of the world destruction kings. If the 6 world destruction kings could become undying kings, then they would definitely be at the level of destruction. For immortal domain, it would be a great disaster. In the previous great era, the 6 world destruction kings had never truly appeared. Perhaps occasionally, 1 or 2 would appear, bringing great disaster to immortal domain. Moreover, these 6 world destruction kings were even more like a type of mandate of heaven, reincarnating endlessly, unable to be severed. In this great era, news of the 6 world destruction kings actually spread this early, moreover a chaotic body. This made the elders of Immortal Academy here all feel a type of uneasiness. Perhaps in this great era, the 6 world destruction kings would all appear. If they were all allowed to grow up, then for Immortal Domain, it would definitely be a disaster. It is precisely because of this that I gathered all of you here. In the Battle of Desolate Border, my Academy's disciples have an important objective, which is to kill that chaotic body. Elder Fu, I'll leave this matter up to you to inform them. The elder on the head seat said. Yes. Elder Fu stood up, slightly cupping his hands, his expression grave. It wasn't that they weren't willing to take action against the chaotic body. Rather, it was the Battle of Desolate Border, soldier against soldier, general against general, the higher-level experts in a state of confrontation. Under this type of situation, it was difficult for the experts to take action against the younger generation. That was why this was a struggle belonging to the younger generation. For my academy's disciples, this is an enormous trial. Elder Fu sighed inwardly. Soon after, on a mortal island, a great bell-like sound sounded. It's the summoning bell. Could it be that we have to set out for desolate border right now? When they heard this bell sound, many disciples of Nine Heavens Immortal Academy were shocked, at the same time feeling apprehensive. Compared to War God Academy's side's excitement and eagerness, Nine Heavens Immortal Academy's disciples were clearly even more apprehensive. After all, at the same level, their immortal domain cultivators were at a disadvantage. This desolate border training for them was extremely dangerous, could be said to be 9 deaths 1 life. On Immortal Island there were 36 heavenly passages, 72 blessed land. These were the residences for some of the top geniuses, seedlings, and chief disciples. At this moment, outside a heavenly passage overflowing with immortal chi, a beautiful girl with a fluttering skirt and 2 buns landed here. She respectfully said, "Empress, the summoning bell sounded. It seems like the elders have something important to announce. I wonder if Empress—" "Not interested. Remind me again when the trip to desolate border starts." Within the heavenly passage, a cold, indifferent, and emotionless voice sounded. Hearing this voice, the girl sighed inwardly. This girl was the maid Sakura. As for who the person in the heavenly passage was, it went without saying. Empress Ling Yan. Chapter 973. In the past, Ling Yan was also extremely noble and cold. But it wasn't like now, where even her tone was emotionless. That kind of feeling was as if a part of the emotions in the bottom of her heart had completely died. And this change started from the death of Jun Xiaoyao. After Jun Xiaoyao's death, Ling Yan, who was originally cold, became even more unapproachable. In the past, Ling Yan even occasionally joked with Sakura. But now, Ling Yan had been cultivating in seclusion, almost living a life isolated from the world. "Empress, it's been several years. You still haven't walked out?" Sakura sighed in her heart. Jun Xiaoyao had become a thing of the past. Now, not many people in the immortal realm mentioned him. Sakura felt that Ling Yan should also walk out of the shadow and look forward. In fact, logically speaking, Jun Xiaoyao had died. The one who benefited the most should be Ling Yan. As the young empress of the Xian Ting, she and the son of God of the Jun family were originally competing. But now, Ling Yan, who should have been happy, was the one who was the most depressed. It was also lamentable. Inside the heavenly abode, immortal light shrouded the place, and mist was boundless. A peerlessly beautiful woman was sitting cross-legged in the middle of it. Her face was exquisite, and her facial features were perfect as if they were carved by the heavens. Her starry eyes were embellished with coldness and indifference. Her skin was as delicate as mutton-fat jade, and her delicate body flowed with immortal light. Between her eyebrows was noble and cold. It was Ling Yan. After the world of the immortal ruins, the Nine Heavens Immortal Academy opened. She joined the Nine Heavens Immortal Academy with a group of geniuses and obtained the immortal level inheritance of creation. 3 or 4 years passed. Ling Yan's cultivation had also successfully broken through to the quasi-supreme stage. In addition, she had the mark of the Celestial Emperor's throne and was the young empress of the Xian Ting. Today, Ling Yan could be said to be the real leader of the younger generation in Xian Ting. As for Gu Tizi, although he was not bad, he had a bad reputation. In terms of prestige, he was far inferior to Ling Yan. However, only Ling Yan himself knew. She had lost something. It's been so long, there seemed to be a trace of emptiness in Ling Yan's eyes. Her memories were often blurry. The scene of her dancing for Jun Xiaoyao and strolling through the starry sky with Jun Xiaoyao would appear in her mind. She was gradually unable to tell whether she was Ling Yan or Fairy Yuan. Or perhaps both. After all, Fairy Maiden Yuan had prepared a backup plan. She had burned her own body and allowed her soul to return to Ling Yan, allowing the two to fuse. Right now, she was both Ling Yan and Fairy Yuan. It was precisely because of this that Jun Xiaoyao's death was such a huge blow to Ling Yan. Ling Yan raised her jade-like hand. A jade slip was held in her hand. There was a message from Empress Hua's immortal lineage inside. Foreign realm, chaotic body. Ling Yan muttered to herself, a bit bored. Without Jun Xiaoyao, she felt that everything was boring. As the summoning bell was rung, many disciples of the Nine Heavens Immortal Academy were like carps crossing the river. They turned into streaks of light and gathered at the central square of the Immortal Island. I heard that it's a notice from Elder Fu. I wonder what it is. It should be that the desolate border trial is about to begin. As more and more disciples of the Immortal Academy arrived, many people were also discussing. Is the desolate border trial finally about to begin? I can't wait. A clear and domineering voice sounded. In the distance, a huge dragon shadow appeared. Among them stood a peerlessly beautiful woman. The woman wore a snow-white dress. Her long legs were lustrous and glossy. Her long purple hair was as smooth and shiny as silk. On her beautiful face, noble purple-gold phoenix eyes looked arrogantly in all directions. It was Long Yao who had grown up and transformed. It's Empress Long Yao. Seeing this woman, many geniuses were stunned. Long Yao was once one of the 7 defiant emperors. Because of Jun Xiaoyao, the reputation of the 7 defiant emperors wasn't very good. However, the main scapegoat was still Gu Tizi. Not many people targeted the other emperors. In the past few years, Long Yao had lived very comfortably. She had truly become the empress of the ancient void dragon race. At the same time, she was also a genius carefully nurtured by the Overlord Ancestral Hall. Without Jun Xiaoyao, the dark clouds in Long Yao's sky seemed to have dispersed. Previously, in the battle of the Sacred Body and Overlord Body, Jun Xiaoyao had crushed Long Yao with his avatar. Long Yao's Dao heart was about to collapse. Later, she activated the ancient golden dragon bloodline and transformed. She wanted to take revenge, but she was still crushed by Jun Xiaoyao. It could be said that those were dark days. But now, Jun Xiaoyao had fallen, and the darkness had dispersed. Jun Xiaoyao, it's a pity that you have fallen. If you were still alive, I would really want to compete with you again to completely erase the heart demon in my heart, Long Yao muttered to herself. After obtaining the immortal grade creation, she had also broken through to the quasi-supreme stage. However, her only regret was that she couldn't defeat Jun Xiaoyao with her own hands. This left a trace of heart demon in her heart. Long Yao believed that she would never have the chance to erase the heart demon again. At this moment, on the other side, a handsome man with flowing silver hair and wearing a crane cape stepped on the air with his hands behind his back. It was the Ascendant King. He had also broken through to the quasi-supreme stage. As for Yu Yunchang, she wasn't with the Ascendant King. The Ascendant King's expression was dull, and there was a sense of melancholy. Even after a few years, he could still vaguely hear Jun Xiaoyao's words. Friends were really extravagant. Many times, the Ascendant King had asked himself if he had done wrong. Perhaps he had, perhaps he hadn't. The only thing he could be sure of was that there was no medicine for regret in this world. As time passed, more and more geniuses gathered on the plaza. At this moment, a group of men and women arrived from the distance. Their auras were extremely shocking, attracting everyone's attention. Those people are the followers of the Jun family's Son of God. Seeing this group of men and women, many of the geniuses present revealed looks of reverence. Jun Xiaoyao had already fallen for many years. However, his contributions to the immortal domain couldn't be erased. If not for Jun Xiaoyao using his body to suppress the evil intent of the gods, the entire divine ruins might have been destroyed. Once the divine ruins was destroyed, the other side could directly invade. That kind of result was unimaginable. Jun Xiaoyao had become the hero of the immortal domain. As for his followers, they were naturally respected and revered by others. Looking around, Yu, Yen Qingying, Wang Chuan, and Goddess Eternal Calamity were all here. Their auras weren't weak. There was also Princess Longji. Although she hadn't officially become Jun Xiaoyao's follower, she was also in the same camp. She was also the successor of the Nine-Finger Sage Dragon Emperor. Naturally, she could also join the Nine Heavens Immortal Academy. In addition, there were a few women. Yu Chanwan, Yen Ruming, and Tying Jade Hair. They had all joined the Nine Heavens Immortal Academy. In the past few years, the people around Jun Xiaoyao had been working hard to cultivate. They stubbornly believed that Jun Xiaoyao hadn't fallen and would definitely return one day. At this moment, a cold voice suddenly sounded. Yu Chanwan, are you still unwilling to submit to Lord Chaos Physique? A few figures arrived. Seeing those figures, Yu Chanwan and the others' eyes were extremely cold. Followers of the Chaos Physique. Chapter 974. There were 3 people. One of them was a familiar woman. She was dressed in green and was surrounded by immortal light. She had an otherworldly aura. Her beautiful face was covered by a veil, revealing only a pair of eyes that were as clear as water. Her aura was like a snow lotus, untainted by the world. It was Ji Qingyi. Not only was she the goddess of the Ji family of the ancients, but she was also the only successor of the human immortal sect. The successor of the human immortal sect, Ji Daoi, who had the human immortal body, had been plotted against by a foreign being and died in the godly ruins. Of course, only Ji Qingyi knew the truth. But she obviously wouldn't tell anyone. After that, Ji Qingyi joined the Nine Heavens Immortal Academy to cultivate and obtained the immortal creation in Ji Daoi's place. His current cultivation was also at Quasi-Supreme. And there was news. Ji Qingyi seemed to have some connection with the chaotic body. Although the chaotic body hadn't completely come out of seclusion, his followers had already started to travel the world. The one who spoke wasn't Ji Qingyi. It was a person wearing a silver cloak and a white mask. The mask had the image of a sun engraved on it. There was another cloaked person beside him, but judging from her graceful figure, she should be a woman. The woman also wore a mask, but it had a crescent moon engraved on it. These two were the followers of the chaotic body, Sun Xinghu and Moon Xinghu. Actually, there was another Star Xinghu before, but he had been killed by Jun Xiaoyao in the original imperial city. If your Lord Chaotic Body finds out that you're using such despicable means to threaten me, I wonder if his reputation will be tarnished? Yu Chanwan said coldly. She still couldn't forget that she had been taken away by the prodigies of the gatekeeper family in the original imperial city. The culprit was Star Xinghu, one of the 3 saint protectors under the chaotic body. Ha, my lord won't care about this. You have the great moon body, so you're useful to him, Sun Xinghu said with a cold smile. Moon Xinghu also said, my lord has the unparalleled chaotic body, and he's the only one in history. If you choose to follow him, your future will be limitless. The two of them wanted Yu Chanwan to follow the chaotic body. Previously, he had thought of making a move by force. However, the Nine Heavens Immortal Academy strictly forbade its disciples from fighting among themselves. Secondly, Yu Chanwan had Princess Longji and Jun Xiaoyao's followers by her side. It was unrealistic to try to force him. However, when she heard the words of the two, Yu Chanwan's snow-white face carried traces of cold mockery. The only one since ancient times, his future is limitless. Heh, if only young master were here. Hearing Yu Chanwan's words, all the sky prides in the square fell silent. Jun Xiaoyao was a name that couldn't be avoided. In this great world, Jun Xiaoyao could be said to be the most resplendent star, cutting across the boundless night sky. He was the only one in the immortal domain who, since his birth, had swept through the world, never tasting defeat, a peerless monster. Even when Jun Xiaoyao fell in the immortal ruins, Many people thought that it was just the evil thoughts of the gods that were destroying his physical body, preventing him from using his full strength. Otherwise, a mere Dharma body of Junbieli, even with Gu Tizi and the rest of the 7 rebellious emperors, would not be able to defeat Jun Xiaoyao. After so many years, Yu Chanwan mentioned this person again. Many people present sighed. However, the Sun Xinghu's piercing voice rang out, Jun Xiaoyao, a name that has almost been forgotten. There's no need to mention those who have been eliminated and buried. Master will ascend to the supreme throne and become the new king, the Moon Xinghu said with a strong sense of admiration in his voice. Even among the seed-level sky prides, the chaotic body was definitely the strongest. There were not many who could match it. The chaotic body would replace the glory of the Jun family's Son of God. Bulsh *T. On the other side, Yu shouted coldly. Flames were flowing in his golden eyes of illusion breaker. As Jun Xiaoyao's first follower, he was also the first person to follow Jun Xiaoyao. In his heart, Jun Xiaoyao was someone who could not be slandered. Am I wrong? Everything ends when a person dies. What's there to talk about when he's already dead? The Sun Xinghu said indifferently. The smell of gunpowder between the two sides was getting stronger. Ji Qingyi was rumored to be related to the chaotic body. However, at this moment, she stood alone on the side and did not participate in the battle. She had no intention of standing on the side of the Sun Xinghu and the Moon Xinghu. At this moment, a voice rang out again. The era that belongs to Jun Xiaoyao has passed. What's the point of mentioning it again? A group of people walked over. The man in the lead was wearing an 8 trigrams robe. He was tall and handsome. There were 8 trigrams runes circling behind him. He was extremely aloof and had the aura of a king. It was Gu Tizi of the Fuxi immortal system. Beside him was Tsang Li of the Tsangjie immortal system, Yao Qing of the Shennong immortal system, and the others. It's the Xian Ting. In the current situation of the immortal region, the Jun clan and the Xian Ting could be said to be rivals. Seeing Gu Tizi arrive, many of the prodigies present secretly looked at him with disdain. Gu Tizi's reputation in the immortal region was now extremely bad. When Jun Xiaoyao sacrificed himself to suppress the evil intent of the gods, Gu Tizi wanted to ambush him and steal the heavenly crown. In the end, he did not get the heavenly crown. Instead, he got into trouble and became the scapegoat. Of course, with his status, no one dared to say anything. You're just a small fry, how dare you speak such nonsense? Princess Longji's eyes were cold. After receiving the inheritance of the 9-finger sage dragon emperor, Princess Longji's strength had skyrocketed. Although she had not become a quasi-supreme, she had reached the peak of the sacred lord realm. Are you so arrogant just because you received the inheritance of a Dharch? To be honest, without Jun Xiaoyao's support, what are you? Gu Tizi's eyes were cold. If it were not for the 9 Heavens Immortal Academy forbidding internal conflicts, he would not mind killing these followers of Jun Xiaoyao. However, his words were correct. Yu and the others were not weak, but they did rely on their status as followers of Jun Xiaoyao to achieve their current status. Enough. The training at the desolate border is near, and the enemy is right in front of us. How can you be so childish and argue? An old voice sounded. A white-robed old man stepped through the air and arrived. Greetings, Elder Fu. Many prodigies cupped their fists. Elder Fu was also one of the elders of the 9 Heavens Immortal Academy. He had real power. Elder Fu, did you summon us here for the training at the desolate border? A prodigy asked. Elder Fu's expression was very serious. He frowned and said, "That is secondary. This time, I came to inform you of a piece of bad news. Your training this time might be extremely difficult." Elder Fu's words caused the prodigies present to reveal surprised and doubtful expressions. For Elder Fu to warn them like this, it was obviously not something good. May I ask Elder Fu, what exactly is the news? A prodigy was nervous. He braced himself and cupped his fist. A war god has appeared in the Foreign War God Academy, Elder Fu said. What? These words set off waves in the plaza. The Foreign War God Academy could be said to be the opposite of the Nine Heavens Immortal Academy. And the War God of the War God Academy, everyone in the celestial realm knew that he was definitely a top monster. Only he had the qualifications to be conferred the title of War God. Previously, in the desolate border, there was a young war god of the War God Academy who had the record of killing 10 seed-level prodigies in the celestial realm. It could be said to be shocking. How could this be? Could it be that the tragic and bloody history of the past is about to reappear? Some prodigies' faces were as pale as paper. Meanwhile, what left them even more shocked was Elder Fu's following words. That War God Academy's titled War God is even a chaotic body. When these words sounded, heaven and earth fell silent. All sound was sucked away. It was dead silent, as quiet as cicadas in winter. Chapter 975. The chaotic physique was one of the top 10 physiques among the 3,000 physique. It was even close to being in the top 5. In fact, among the 3,000 physiques, apart from the Fateless one, who was ranked first, the other physiques were all ranked first. The rankings of the other physiques were constantly changing. For example, in one era, an invincible chaotic physique dominated the world and was likely to be ranked second. In another era, a heaven-defying innate sacred physique with Tao embryo appeared and defeated the chaotic physique to take the second place. Therefore, apart from the Fateless one, the rankings of the other physiques were never stable. However, no matter how unstable the rankings were, there was always a gap. For example, the sacred physique of the ancients had never been pushed out of the top 10, even when the 10 shackles fell from the sky. Many even believed that if Jun Xiaoyao had not fallen, he would have been able to do so. He might have been able to pull the sacred physique of the ancients from the top 10 to the top 5 all by himself. He might even have been able to compete for the second place. It was a pity that Jun Xiaoyao had fallen. Otherwise, everyone would have liked to see Jun Xiaoyao, who had the sacred physique of the ancients, fight with the chaotic physique. At this moment, they heard Elder Fu say that there was a chaotic physique in the foreign realm. The whole place was dead silent. It was so quiet that one could hear a pin drop. Impossible! Sun Xinghu and Moon Xinghu shouted at the same time. The chaotic physique is unparalleled since ancient times. It is already a great era to have one in an era. How can there be two? Sun Xinghu shouted in disbelief. That's right. My lord is the only one with the chaotic physique. Could the one in the foreign realm be a fake? Moon Xinghu also found it hard to believe. They couldn't be blamed for being so. That was because in their hearts, their lord was the only one with a primal chaos body, a supreme existence. Now, there was someone with the same physique as their lord in the foreign realm. They naturally couldn't accept it. Do you think I'm joking? Or are you doubting the source of the Immortal Academy's information? Elder Fu snorted coldly. I wouldn't dare. Both of them lowered their heads and cupped their hands. No disciple dared to offend Elder Fu's authority in the Immortal Academy. It seems that this is true. The Immortal Academy's information can't be wrong. I didn't expect that the chaotic physique of the immortal realm would appear before the chaotic physique of the foreign realm. Many geniuses were discussing with solemn expressions. A chaotic body that obtained the War God title was going to participate in this desolate border training. To the geniuses of the immortal realms, this was definitely bad news. Even if a primal chaos physique really appeared in the other side, they still wouldn't be my family's sir's match. Sun Xinghu and Moon Xinghu said firmly. In their hearts, even though they all had the chaotic body, their lord was the strongest. At this moment, Elder Fu added, although the War God level chaotic body is powerful, it's not like our world doesn't have anyone capable of dealing with it. Most importantly, that primal chaos body is one of the 6 apocalyptic kings. His words shocked all the sky prides, even more than the chaotic physique. The legends of the world-destroying 6 kings belonged to the other side. However, the immortal region naturally knew this as well. This was especially the case with 9 Heavens Immortal Academy, as the academy that nurtured immortal domains elites. They naturally had to share a lot of information with these disciples. Meanwhile, the other side's doomsday legends, the legends of the world-destroying 6 kings, were precisely the most important. That chaotic body is actually one of the 6 apocalyptic kings? All the sky prides were speechless. Their expressions stiffened, and some of them were dumbfounded. With so many identities added together, it was just too terrifying. Was there really such a monstrous figure in the other side? Sun Xinghu and Moon Xinghu were speechless. Even though they were wearing masks, their stiff and unnatural expressions could still be felt. Now, even they couldn't guarantee that their lord would be able to defeat the chaotic body of the other side. The chaotic body of the other side has such a great background? Gu Tizi frowned. Just how powerful is the chaotic body? Long Yao was also trying to figure it out. Seeing the serious expressions of the sky prides present, Elder Fu shook his head slightly and sighed. Therefore, your main goal this time is to surround and kill the chaotic body. No matter what method you use, single or encirclement, as long as you can kill the chaotic body, you will receive huge rewards and glory. Elder Fu's words made many sky prides' eyes light up. However, even more sky prides still had serious expressions. If the chaotic body was so easy to kill, then it wouldn't be called the chaotic body. Perhaps only the sky prides who have obtained immortal-level fortunes or seed-level characters have a chance. Some sky prides sighed. Some of the seed-level sky prides in the immortal realm had already awakened, but they hadn't come to the 9 Heavens Immortal Academy yet. However, those seed-level sky prides would also participate in the Desolate Border training. At that time, the Desolate Border would be their stage. The chaotic body of the 6 world-destroying kings, and the war god of the other side, even the seed-level sky prides might not be able to block it, right? A sky pride's voice trembled slightly. It's hard to say even if the chaotic body of our immortal realm takes action, let alone others. Many sky prides were very nervous, guilty, and a little flustered. If the June family's Son of God was still here, he should be able to block it. Suddenly, a sky pride spoke, immediately causing the noisy square to fall silent. Many people's eyes were filled with admiration and nostalgia. Jun Xiaoyao was known to be invincible in the younger generation, never tasting defeat. Even if he died in the end, it was only because of the evil intent of the god. That's right, if the Jun family's Son of God was still here, that chaotic body of the other side would be nothing. Some sky pride said, reminiscing the time when Jun Xiaoyao's name shook the ancient road, dominating the current world. Gloomy and disgusted gazes were cast at Gu Tizi. Gu Tizi's face was slightly ashen. He was like a rat on the street now. Although it wasn't to the extent that everyone wanted to beat him up, it was close. If it weren't for his identity and strength, he would probably be beaten up wherever he went. Young Master Yan Qingying, Yu Chanwan, and the others had nostalgia in their eyes. Yan Ruming, Princess Longji, and the others were the same. They had firmly believed that Jun Xiaoyao would definitely return. However, a few years had passed, and everything seemed to have been settled. On the 9 Heavens Immortal Academy's side, the news of the chaotic body of the other side was announced, causing an uproar. Many seed-level sky prides who had awakened also received the news. The chaotic body of the other side, interesting. In a deep abyss whirlpool, a figure exuding the demonic aura of a supremacy mumbled to himself. He was the seed-level sky pride of the Nether King bloodline, the Holy Yama. The chaotic body of the other side, if I can kill him, it will be an unprecedented achievement. The seed-level sky pride of the Dragon King Palace, Xian Haoqiong's golden dragon eyes, shone brightly. The chaotic body, if I can obtain the chaotic origin, it will be greatly beneficial to me. In an ancient cave on the sacred Spirit Island, a pale-skinned young master had a cold glint in his narrow eyes. He was the seed-level sky pride of the sacred spirit island, the young master of white bones. In the mystic heaven immortal realm, the sun god mountain. In a blazing sun, a muscular man wrapped in sun god flames stepped out. The 10 princes of the current generation are all trash. The sun god mountain still needs me to clear its name. The seed-level sky pride of the sun god mountain, the golden crow young sacred king, had awakened from his slumber in the sun. Chapter 976. The news of the chaotic physique caused a huge commotion in the celestial realm. Some of the seed-level prodigies who had already awakened all set their sights on the chaotic physique. Not to mention the benefits of killing the chaotic physique. Just the reputation alone was enough to make countless people go crazy. What was the first thing those seed-level prodigies who had been sleeping for a long time did after waking up? Of course, it was to make their reputation known and establish prestige for themselves. If one wanted to stand out in this world of great battles, they didn't just need to be talented and powerful. Fighting for luck and faith was also very important. Jun Xiaoyao's plan was to pretend to sacrifice himself to protect the border. In fact, he had gained a wave of popularity and faith in an invisible way. In the future, Jun Xiaoyao would be able to receive the blessing of the public's luck. The fastest way for these seed-level prodigies to establish prestige was to kill the chaotic physique of the foreign realm. For a time, the entire 9 heavens immortal realm was stirred up. Many prodigies were eager to fight and set their sights on the chaotic physique. On the foreign realm side, their battle intent was also high. Some young experts of the immortal emperor clans appeared, and they were strong enough to compete with the seed-level figures of the celestial realm. Some people even saw a bright light shining in the sky, a bloody light illuminating the sky, and a strange phenomenon appearing. Those were the princes and heavenly daughters of the immortal emperor clans awakening to conquer the desolate border. On the Ares Academy's side, Jun Xiaoyao also received the notice that he was about to set off for the desolate border. Xian Yu was still recuperating, so Jun Xiaoyao asked her to stay in his residence. As for Fei Qingxue, she stayed at home and continued to cultivate in the academy. As for Su Hongyi, Jun Xiaoyao also planned to let her go to the desolate border. Because Su Hongyi was different from Fei Qingxue, Jun Xiaoyao thought that Su Hongyi was also one of the 6 destruction kings, but for some reason, she hadn't awakened yet. Su Hongyi might have an unexpected gain in the desolate border. Next, it was Tushan Chunchun and Tushan Wanwan. However, to Jun Xiaoyao's surprise, they didn't plan to go to the desolate border. "I'm sorry, sir. Although I also want to go to the desolate border with you," fourth sister said no. Tushan Chunchun pursed her lips and glanced at Tushan Wanwan with hidden bitterness. Normally speaking, in a dangerous place like desolate border, it was a good time to warm up feelings. Tushan Chunchun was still fantasizing about playing the hero, saving the damsel in distress, and falling in love with Jun Xiaoyao. "Apologies, young master, it was Big Sister's orders. She said that we have to go back and prepare for the matchmaking assembly. It will be held after the desolate border matters are concluded." As Tushan Wanwan spoke, a trace of loneliness appeared on her face. During this period of time, Tushan Wanwan had made up her mind. She also understood who she liked. However, Jun Xiaoyao was too outstanding. Primal Chaos Body, a titled battle god, and one of the 6 world-destroying kings. Countless immortal emperor clans would do anything to snatch Jun Xiaoyao. There were also peerless beauties like the Luo King, who had both looks, strength, and status. In comparison, even Tushan Wanwan, who was one of the 5 beauties of Tushan, felt extremely dim. To others, the Tushan family was an unreachable monarch family. However, in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes it was just SOSO. He even dared to go against the Majia family. How could he treat Tushan Wanwan differently just because of her background in Tushan? Therefore, although Tushan Wanwan was moved, she couldn't say it out loud. Matchmaking assembly. Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. He suddenly thought of someone. Qi Hongyu of the Qi Xiao family. His younger brother, Qi Lingkong, died at the hands of Jun Xiaoyao. However, before this, Jun Xiaoyao sensed the aura of one of the 9 great heavenly books, the Soul Book, on Qi Lingkong. He also guessed that Qi Hongyu, Qi Lingkong's brother, might have the Soul Book. At the very least, it had something to do with the Soul Book. Another clue was that the third princess of Tushan, Tushan Xiaoxiao, had mentioned it before. Qi Hongyu had once pursued the 5 beauties of Tushan. However, at that time, the Qi Xiao monarch hadn't broken through to become an immortal king. Therefore, Qi Hongyu didn't even have the right to pursue her. Now that the Tushan 5 beauties were holding a matchmaking assembly, Qi Hongyu wouldn't miss it. Jun Xiaoyao had also deliberately asked around about Qi Hongyu. Later, he found out that Qi Hongyu was directly chosen by the Qi Xiao king, an immortal of the Qi Xiao family, and was taken in as his last disciple. This was also why Qi Hongyu didn't come to the Ares Academy. Being personally taught by an immortal king was better than coming to the Ares Academy. One could imagine that after being taught by an immortal, Qi Hongyu's strength must be extremely strong. He might even be as strong as the 7 minor emperors. Sir. Seeing that Jun Xiaoyao was a little absent-minded, Tushan Wanwan thought it was because of the matchmaking assembly. Her heart couldn't help but skip a beat. Could it be that Jun Xiaoyao wasn't indifferent to the matchmaking assembly? Sir, are you willing to let us marry someone else? Tushan Chuanchuan's big, bright eyes widened. She looked at Jun Xiaoyao with a silly and innocent face. Compared to Tushan Wanwan, she was more innocent and simple. Jun Xiaoyao smiled and didn't say anything. Tushan Wanwan took a deep breath. Her breasts rose and fell as if she had mustered up her courage. When the matchmaking assembly starts, will Sir come? The 2 beauties of the Tushan Fox clan both stared at Jun Xiaoyao, their little hearts thumping. I think so, Jun Xiaoyao said. If he didn't go to the matchmaking assembly, how would he meet Qi Hongyu and get the Soul Book? And Yun Xiaohe, according to Tushan Wanwan, had left alone. At that time, there might be some unexpected and interesting things that might happen. It would be a pity if Jun Xiaoyao wasn't there for such a good show. Yay! Tushan Chunchun cheered. Tushan Wanwan also smiled slightly. But she was still nervous. Jun Xiaoyao only agreed to participate in the matchmaking assembly. He didn't really say that he was going to participate. After some preparation, Jun Xiaoyao prepared to leave with Su Hongyi. As soon as he went out, he saw a beautiful figure standing in the void. She was wearing a smoky long dress. She was beautiful and charming, and her beauty was a little soul-stirring. She was as bright as the sun, as smooth as jade, and as beautiful as a flower reflected in the water. It was unforgettable. Who else could it be if not Luo Xiangling? Su Hongyi, who was right next to Jun Xiaoyao, was completely dumbfounded. Her face was filled with envy. Although she didn't have the ugly scars on her body, she was still a beauty. But obviously, she hadn't grown up yet. She was still a distance away from a beauty like Luo Xiangling. Xiaoyao, you must be careful on this trip to the barren border, Luo Xiangling said. Don't worry. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. It seemed that Luo Xiangling was really interested in him. At the same time, in the depths of the academy, in the residence of Fufeng of Gojoseon. Fufeng of Gojoseon's face was cold. He picked up a jade slip and seemed to be sending a message to someone. After that, Fufeng of Gojoseon's lips curled into a cold smile. I don't need to do anything for the chaotic body. The barren border is chaotic and doesn't belong to the rules of our world. Even an undying being can't find out the cause and effect, let alone find me. The barren border will be the place where the chaotic body will be buried. Fufeng of Gojoseon didn't care about Jun Xiaoyao's identity as one of the 6 kings of destruction. If he offended him, he would kill him no matter how powerful his background was. Chapter 977. Dong. 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 The sound of a bell rang like a great bell. That was War God Academy's war bell ringing. It represented War God Academy's departure. The desolate border training has finally arrived. I can't wait any longer. I really want to see the terrified expressions of those immortal domain ants. Chaotic Body Great One has appeared, moreover one of the world-destroying 6 kings. In this great era, my side will definitely be able to break through the border pass and occupy immortal domain. Many long howls resounded from all directions of Victory Academy. The various king clans, peak king clans, half-emperor clans, and even emperor clans' heavenly talents all turned into streaks of rainbow light, rising into the air. Because of Jun Xiaoyao, War God Academy's morale was high. Prince Higan, Li Jiui, Pu Yao, Jin Zhan, and the other 10 great heavenly king-level geniuses also appeared. Only, their expressions weren't too good. In the past, they were the focal point of everyone's attention. Yet now, before Jun Xiaoyao even appeared, he already seized all of the glory. How could such a monster appear? This is too abnormal. Prince Higan's expression was cold. He always felt that Jun Xiaoyao's appearance was too strange. After all, this type of exceptional monster was never heard of before. It was as if he was born out of thin air. But now, Jun Xiaoyao's popularity was too great, even the undying emperor clans fighting over him, wanting to rope him in. No one would listen to his doubts. Relax, whether or not he can return alive from this trip to the desolate border is still not certain. Li Jiui said with a sneer. You mean? Pu Yao and the others' eyes turned. Right now, Immortal Domain should already know about his news. Do you all think that Immortal Domain will allow him to continue growing? Li Jiui said. Indeed, Immortal Domain might launch an assassination operation. Pu Yao nodded slightly. The so-called assassination operation was precisely the Great War between 2 worlds. A group of elites would be sent out to kill the enemy's monster heavenly talents, nipping them in the bud. Immortal Domain's side was called the Assassination Guard. The other side's side was called the Hunters. Even though the names were different, the meaning was the same. One could imagine that if news of Jun Xiaoyao spread to Immortal Domain, it would definitely draw the attention of Immortal Domain. At that time, no matter how strong Jun Xiaoyao was, he would still be in danger. I hope so, said Prince Higan. Even though Jun Xiaoyao's identity as one of the World Annihilation's 6 kings was extremely important to the other side. However, they didn't want Jun Xiaoyao to become an immortal king in the future. At this moment there was an uproar from all directions. Prince Bian and the others looked over, and their faces sank. It was Jun Xiaoyao and Su Hongyi. Greetings, War God! Greetings, my lord. Long live the Chaos War God. Many of the Ares Academy's disciples cheered, looking at Jun Xiaoyao with fervent and reverence. They clasped their hands in greeting. Some people even gave Jun Xiaoyao the title of Chaos War God. It was the combination of the Chaos Body and the War God title. Primal Chaos War God, what a Chunibu name. Jun Xiaoyao grumbled inwardly as he heard the cheers all around him. However, if the truth was exposed in the end, the Primal Chaos War God, one of the 6 world-destroying kings, was actually someone from the immortal realm. Who knew if their worldview would crumble? Of course, this was a matter for the future. Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't return to the immortal realm directly from the desolate border. Because of the Soul Book, the Bian clan's matter, and the news of his father hadn't been investigated clearly. In addition, the great mission of preaching still had to continue. There was also the quasi-connate sacred body Tao embryo that was still brewing in the heavenly tomb. If Jun Xiaoyao wanted to return to the immortal realm, he naturally had to return in the most prosperous, perfect, and powerful state. At that time, the chaos body would be combined with the quasi-connate sacred body Tao embryo. Who else could it be? Patience, I still need to go under cover for a while. No rush, there's still the Avacania lands to investigate, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. He had a vague feeling. In the Avacania lands, he might find some secrets about the foreign realm. Perhaps he could even find the origin of the dark matter. He might even find some clues about the source and the great calamity of the era that the myth Empress Mi Fei mentioned. However, I don't know the way to enter the Avacania lands yet. But ordinary people can't even get close. If I want to get close in the future, I have to obtain the complete trust and attention of the foreign realm. In other words, I need to perform well in the desolate border, amaze the foreign realm, and even shock them. Jun Xiaoyao's thoughts were meticulous as he pondered. This was the so-called proof of allegiance of the foreign realm. You had to make contributions, perform well, establish great merits, and only then could you obtain true trust and attention. But in that case, you would have to kill the creatures of the immortal realm. Although it's not good to say this, in the immortal realm, I have quite a few enemies. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes revealed a bit of cold light. Some people in the immortal realm, to him, were no different from the creatures of the foreign realm. For example, the Xian Ting, the Archean royalty, and some hostile forces of the Jun family. Jun Xiaoyao didn't feel the slightest psychological burden when killing the people of these forces. He even felt a bit happy. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was thinking. Suddenly, a powerful and extraordinary aura appeared, making Jun Xiaoyao cast his gaze over. A sea of blood surged over from the heavens, the aura of a supreme being pervading the air. A blood-robed man stepped out from the sea of blood. His head of long blood-colored hair flowed down like a river of blood. Within his eyes, it was as if there were two blood-colored lakes. It's the Blood Devil Emperor clan's Blood Emperor child. When they saw this person, someone cried out in alarm. The Blood Devil Emperor clan was also an undying emperor clan of the foreign realm. They innately grasped Blood Dao divine abilities, having the ability to rebirth from a drop of blood, condense weapons from blood, sacrifice the world, and other powerful abilities. On the other side of the heavens, an expanse of fiery clouds appeared, as if it was going to burn that part of the heavens down. A giant fiend beast void figure appeared. This was a vicious beast that looked like a black dog, its tail actually roiling and burning like flames. In the end, this vicious beast turned into a skinny, sinister-faced man. Disaster Battle Clan's Pride of Heaven, Ho! Disaster, this was a legendary beast of fire and inauspicious. The Disaster Battle Clan was also an emperor clan of the foreign realm. This man was precisely the Disaster Battle Clan's Pride of Heaven, named Ho. In addition, on the other side of the heavens, another living being appeared. It had the head of a true dragon, the body of a human, and the legs of a bird's claws. There were feathers on both of its arms. This living being seemed to have arrived on a rainy day. Prince Ji Meng of the Ji Meng clan. The surrounding prodigies were all numb. These Emperor clan prodigies that were rarely seen appeared one after another. Every one of them had an unreachable status, and ordinary people could only look at their back. Seeing is believing. One of the 6 Destruction Kings, you live up to your reputation. The Blood Devil Emperor of the Blood Devil Emperor clan looked at Jun Xiaoyao and smiled. Unparalleled primordial chaotic body, and you even pulled out the god's weeping war halberd, becoming the successor of the first war god. You are indeed extraordinary, Prince Jimeng said. He, the first person to be conferred the title of war god in this era. Ho of the Disaster Battle Clan laughed. It was a little hoarse, like sandpaper rubbing against each other. It was extremely ear-piercing and gave people an uncomfortable feeling. These 3 people, Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows. The 3 of them seemed to be complimenting each other, but he felt that something was wrong. Could it be? A dark light flashed past Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. Chapter 978. Jun Xiaoyao's spiritual perception was extremely sharp, and he even had a sense of danger. In addition, he was quick-witted and intelligent. He had a feeling that these 3 emperor race prides in front of him harbored ill intentions. Until now, Jun Xiaoyao had made many enemies in the foreign realm. However, He believed that the Black Peacock royal family from before wouldn't have the guts to provoke him again. And these three people in front of him, if they really wanted to harm him, then they must have been instigated by someone. Is it the Infernal Emperor clan, the Maja Emperor clan, or the Fufeng of Gojoseon? In an instant, Jun Xiaoyao's thoughts ran thousands of times. With the three-world primordial spirit, his mind was like a supercomputer. He had a grudge with Li Jiui, but logically speaking, Li Jiui was at least still alive. He wasn't that impulsive. Then only the Maja Emperor clan and the Fufeng of Gojoseon were left. Both sides were possible. Especially the Fufeng of Gojoseon, Jun Xiaoyao had already seen through his narrow-mindedness. After knowing that he was one of the World Destruction's 6 kings, he would naturally be even more unhappy. In addition, he was also an ancient supreme of the Academy, a quasi-immortal, so the power he could mobilize was also great. Jun Xiaoyao was guessing. However, Jun Xiaoyao didn't take this matter to heart. Even though these 3 emperor race prides of heaven were all supreme beings. But wanting to kill him in the desolate border was still a bit wishful thinking. It's just some false reputation. What's there to mention? Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly and replied, I hope that a primal chaos war god like you can make a name for our world in the desolate border, Prince Ji Meng said with a smile. Same to you, Jun Xiaoyao said. This conversation seemed peaceful, but there was an undercurrent surging. It was just that outsiders couldn't detect it. Then, a few more emperor race prides of heaven appeared, each of them surging with auras. The weakest was a quasi-supreme. This made Jun Xiaoyao secretly frown. As expected, there was still a gap between the strength of the immortal domain and the foreign realm. If not for the fact that the immortal domain still had some dormant seed. Just relying on the current generation's heavenly talents was hard to compare to the other side. Alright, everyone. Without further ado, let's set off. Elder Mu appeared and said. This time, he was the one leading the team. Ancient warships over a few hundred zhang or even 1,000 zhang long floated in the sky. There were also all types of ferocious flying ancient beasts pulling bronze war chariots, all of them ready to go. The desolate border training this time couldn't be considered a true great decisive battle between 2 worlds, but the scene was still extremely shocking. Under Old Mu's lead, Jun Xiaoyao and the others left Ares Academy and headed towards the Barren Lands. Apart from War God Academy, the other side's 10 great provinces were also mobilized. The various general tribes, royal tribes, boundary monarch tribes, and monarch tribes had all sent out many living beings and young geniuses. The Ares Academy was just one of the many factions of power. Of course, the 9 Heavens Immortal Academy was not the only one from the mystic realm. The 9 immortal orthodoxies of the Xian Ting, the Jun family, the clan of the ancients, the Archean royalty, the Super Jin dynasty, the imperishable orthodoxies, and so on would all participate. Even though it wasn't a decisive battle this time, it could be said to be the first great mobilization of the 2 realms. Jun Xiaoyao looked at the vast and mighty foreign great army that covered the sky, a grave expression hidden at the depths of his eyes. The other side's backing and strength were even greater than what he had imagined. No wonder they could pose such a threat to immortal domain. Jun Xiaoyao was extremely curious. Just what exactly was the source of the other side? When the other side mobilized, Immortal Domain's great army naturally also moved in a grandiose manner, heading towards the border pass, and then leaving for the desolate border. At the border of the foreign great provinces, there were giant transport formations that could directly transport them to the desolate border. The other side didn't have a great border pass like Immortal Domain. It was because the other side were invaders to begin with, so they didn't fear Immortal Domain's invasion. Moreover, the other side's darkness matter wasn't something Immortal Domain's creatures could easily endure. After entering the transport formation, Jun Xiaoyao only felt the surrounding space shake intensely. The scene around him instantly distorted. From time to time, flames would reach the heavens, magma everywhere, as if they returned to the initial stage of ancient stars. Then, there were layers upon layers of mist, who knew how many millions and millions of li, all of it filled with origin magnetic energy. Then, there were all types of poisonous miasma swamps, lands of thunderstorms, regions of strong winds, and others, after who knew how much time had passed, who knew how many regions they passed through. In the end, the surrounding chaotic space finally came to a stop. Jun Xiaoyao looked over, immediately taking a deep breath. As far as the eye could see, there was only an endless desert. The great desert was covered in smoke, the long river setting sun, as if it was a desolate desert. Even when one's divine senses swept out, they still couldn't find the limits of the desert. Above the heavens, it wasn't a blue sky, but rather a pitch-black and deep starry sky. All types of celestial bodies flickered, stars shining. This was a desert under an endless starry sky. This is the desolate border, Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. It wasn't just him, for most of the foreign young creatures here, this was their first time coming to the desolate border. They were all shocked by the scene before their eyes. The remains of unknown giant beasts were as large as mountains, towering into the starry sky. Collapsed ancient mountains, celestial bodies that fell from the starry sky, smashing open ancient craters one after another on the ground. This was an expanse of desolate and deathly still, moreover a chaotic region. Jun Xiaoyao walked up, grabbing a handful of sand on the ground. This sand was a sinister white color. This isn't sand, but rather the dust left behind after skeletal remains weathered away. Jun Xiaoyao said. The other heavenly geniuses also noticed this, all of them incredibly shocked. This boundless, desolate border desert was actually completely formed from the bones of creatures after they died. Just how many creatures died here? There were some foreign heavenly geniuses who were absent-minded, muttering to themselves. Even though the foreign side revered the iron and blood laws of the jungle, when they saw this scene, their minds were still shaken. The bones of the faithful are buried everywhere on the Green Mountain. Why is there a need to bury their bodies in battle? My side's ancestors died here, this is their glory. Meanwhile, what we need to do is to complete the will of our ancestors, blast through the border pass, trample immortal domain. Elder Mu shouted loudly. Correct, blast through the border pass, trample immortal domain. Large groups of foreign creatures all began to shout out. Jun Xiaoyao inwardly frowned. The foreign side was so persistent in invading immortal domain, just what was the reason? Could it be that it was purely for immortal domain's land and resources? Jun Xiaoyao vaguely felt like there were even deeper secrets within. Alright, from now on, my side's great army will confront immortal domain's great army, fight a slaughter. However, your mission is not to follow the army onto the battlefield to kill the enemy, but rather to enter desolate borders' various regions, fight against immortal domain's heavenly geniuses. Immortal domain's heavenly geniuses, kill as many as you can, cut off their younger generation's path of growth, create a gap. Elder Mu said loudly. The true great battle hadn't started yet. That was why the great figures of the two sides were all overseeing things, not rashly taking action. The great army below was also just probing things out. The most important thing was these younger generations' trial. Little friend, are you sure you don't need anyone else to take care of you? Elder Mu looked towards Jun Xiaoyao. He originally wanted a few Emperor clan elites and Jun Xiaoyao to follow them, so that they could take care of each other. Even if they encountered danger, these Emperor clan elites could also be used as scapegoat. As long as Jun Xiaoyao was fine, it was fine. After all, his identity was special, extremely important to the foreign side. True gold still needs to be refined by fire. I have the title of war god. If I still fear the slightest thing, wouldn't that be inviting ridicule? Jun Xiaoyao said in a carefree manner. However, in reality, he just didn't want to be restricted. When Elder Mu heard this, he also nodded. Young master, I want to go experience it alone. On the side, Su Hongyi hesitated for a moment before speaking. She hoped that she could become stronger, so that she wouldn't be a burden to Jun Xiaoyao. All right, Jun Xiaoyao replied. Su Hongyi had secrets on her, and her talent was extremely great. She only lacked the tempering between life and death. Jun Xiaoyao believed that if Su Hongyi really was one of the World Destruction's 6 kings, then she definitely wouldn't be easily harmed. Everyone from Immortal Domain, have you been well? Jun Xiaoyao muttered inwardly. His foot stepped into the void, and his figure tore through the air, disappearing from his original spot. Desolate Borders trial officially began. Chapter 979. The Desolate Border was located between the Celestial Realm and the Foreign Realm. However, it was boundless and had no end in sight. Even the primal Chaos Dao Venerate and Boundary Emperors could not search every corner of the Desolate Border. The Desolate Border was too mysterious. It was not under the jurisdiction of the 2 realms since ancient times. The rules were broken and the aura was chaotic. This was a land without order, and there were many strange things hidden in it. For example, the Burial Ground, Ghost Howling Abyss, Broken Star Plateau, Heaven Burial Forest, Blood Sacrifice Ground, Desolate Ancient Mountain Range, and so on. Every place was a forbidden land. It was extremely dangerous and strange. Jun Xiaoyao had some understanding of the Desolate Border before coming here. The Blood Sacrifice Ground that Elder Mu had asked him to pay attention to was located at the border between the Heaven Burial Forest and the Desolate Ancient Mountain Range. Let's go to the Heaven Burial Forest first. Jun Xiaoyao confirmed his target and took a step forward, disappearing from where he was as if he was traveling through space. Many Ares Academy disciples wanted to train with Jun Xiaoyao. However, Jun Xiaoyao was already nowhere to be seen before he could even say anything. On the other side, Prince Ji Meng, the Blood Emperor, and Qi from the Huo fighting clan exchanged glances. Their figures also disappeared on the spot. After that, the Ares Academy disciples, as well as the prodigies of the various King, Boundary, and Monarch clans, formed their own teams and gradually entered the Desolate Border. On the other side, the prodigies of the Celestial Realm did the same. Those who were confident in their own strength would enter alone. Those who were not confident or had a plan would enter in small teams. In an instant, the entire Desolate Border became a deadly battlefield. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. On the Desolate Border, the armies of the 2 realms clashed. Shouts shook the sky. Of course, the true top experts like the Primal Chaos Dao Venerate and Boundary Emperors did not make a move. On the other hand, the younger generation fought fiercely in every corner of the Desolate Border. During this half a month, Jun Xiaoyao also crossed the void and finally arrived at the edge of the Heaven Burial Forest. Looking around, the entire Heaven Burial Forest was extremely vast. It was like a huge continent. Ancient trees towered thousands of feet into the sky, as if they were ancient giants standing in the middle of the forest. In this forest, there were many murderous, intense, and ferocious beasts hiding in the dark. From time to time, there were all kinds of intense fighting sounds and miserable howls. Jun Xiaoyao was not interested in these things. His main goal was to find an opportunity to break through to the 9 Heavens' supreme realm. What came next was to kill a few Immortal Domain enemies to establish their allegiance. Of course, if they ran into some ants from the other side, they could easily get rid of them. In any case, this place's aura was chaotic and karma was disorderly. Even an undying wouldn't be able to find any traces. The Heaven Burial Forest should be one of the main battlegrounds for the geniuses of the 2 worlds. I can go there and capture some immortal cultivators to gather information about the immortal realms. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. He seemed to have thought of something and took out a grimace mask from his spatial artifact. It was the mask he had obtained from Xianyu. Jun Xiaoyao put on the ghost mask. This was to prevent any acquaintances from the immortal domain from recognizing him. It wasn't that Jun Xiaoyao wanted to hide it from them. It was just that he had finally become a primal chaos war god. He definitely couldn't expose his identity as one of the 6 world destruction kings. Otherwise, Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't even be able to return to the other side. He could only return to the immortal domain. Then, he wouldn't be able to continue doing some things in the other side, including preaching. Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't allow any accidents to happen. He wore the ghost mask on his face, and chaotic mist lingered around his body. Jun Xiaoyao believed that not many people would recognize him. After making preparations, Jun Xiaoyao entered the Heaven Burial Forest. At this moment, in the central region of the Heaven Burial Forest, a few beautiful figures formed a small team and were going deeper. Along the way, they encountered some scattered creatures from the other side and killed them all. On a closer look, they were Princess Longji, Yan Ruming, and Yu Chanwan. The 3 of them met because of Jun Xiaoyao and became friends. As for Yu, Yan Qingying, Wang Chuan, and Goddess Eternal Calamity, as Jun Xiaoyao's followers, they formed a hunting team. The 2 teams split into 2 groups and went on their own adventures. I already have tens of thousands of merit points. When the time comes, I can exchange them for some good things in the Immortal Academy, Yu Chanwan said with a smile. Her eyebrows were curved, and her eyes were clear. Her nose was tall, and her lips were red and moist. Her blue dress outlined her impressive curve. Her breasts were full, but her waist was slender and round. Her butt was perky. Perhaps it was because of the great Yin body, but Yu Chanjuan's figure was fuller and juicier than before. Unfortunately, this woman with the world's best furnace constitution hadn't been exploited yet. She had already made up her mind that her body would always belong to Jun Xiaoyao. Even if Jun Xiaoyao died in front of her, she still adhered to her oath until now. It's not enough. I need to become stronger to be qualified to welcome Master's return. Princess Longji's hair was soft and smooth. Her palace dress wrapped around her slender body, and her slender legs swayed gracefully. She was gorgeous and didn't look like Jun Xiaoyao's mount at all. Hearing the 2 women's words, Yan Ruming, who was wearing a pink dress and a flawless face, fell into silence. Do you still believe that he's still alive? Yan Ruming asked. Yan Ruming also felt a sense of loss after hearing the news of Jun Xiaoyao's death. But she still accepted this reality helplessly. Of course I believe that Master will return. Princess Longji's faith in Jun Xiaoyao was almost irrational. Perhaps Jun Xiaoyao had this charm that could make people believe that he hadn't died. Let's not talk about this for now. I have a feeling that there's a great opportunity and a great secret in the depths of Heaven Burial Forest, Yan Ruming said seriously. Her true form was the Skydream butterfly. She was on par with the cracked demonic butterfly and the archaic emperor butterfly. Yan Ruming already had this feeling when she entered the Heaven Burial Forest. Then let's continue, Princess Longji said. The 3 of them continued. A few days later, they arrived at the depths of Heaven Burial Forest. There were shocking waves of battle in front of them. Princess Longji and the others looked over. 4 figures were fighting with the creatures of the other territory. 3 of them were Ji Qingyi, Sun Xinghu, and Moon Xinghu. There was also a purple-haired man with a powerful aura. He exuded the aura of a supreme. It's Tian Kanzi from the Divine Silkworm Valley. Seeing that young man, Yan Ruming subconsciously frowned, because she had an unpleasant experience with the Divine Silkworm Valley. Yuan Kanzi from the Divine Silkworm Valley had harassed her before. But he was killed by Jun Xiaoyao in the end. Who is it? Come out. A young man in a black and gold robe shouted coldly from the creatures of the other territory. He raised his hand and his palm cracked. A beam of light from the evil eye pierced through. If Jun Xiaoyao was here, he would definitely find it funny. The creatures of the other territory were Li Jiui, Pu Yao, Jin Zhan, and the other heavenly king prodigies. The 2 sides clashed. Chapter 980. The evil eye's beam was extremely powerful. Princess Longji and the other 2 hurriedly dodged and revealed themselves. It's you, Tian Kanzi, who had a head of purple hair and was emitting the aura of a supremacy, relaxed slightly when he saw Princess Longji and the others. If it was the reinforcements from the other side, it would be troublesome. After all, his enemies were already very troublesome. The 10 heavenly king-level prodigies of the other side were as weak as chickens and dogs in front of Jun Xiaoyao. But that was only relative. To the prodigies of the immortal region, they were definitely strong opponent. Especially Li Jui, although his cultivation was only at the quasi-supremacy level. There was a gap between him and supremacy Tian Kanzi. But Li Jui had the evil eye of the infernal emperor race and the support of the quasi-emperor weapon, the Eye of Despair. For a moment, Tian Kanzi and Li Jui were evenly matched. Not to mention, the creatures of the other side were naturally several times stronger than the creatures of the immortal region of the same level. That was why Li Jui could use the Eye of Despair to fight against the Divine Silkworm Valley's seed-level prodigy, Tian Kanzi. As for Pu Yao, Jin Zhan, Gu Qi, and the two-headed god race prodigy, they were fighting against Ji Qingyi, Sun Xinghu, and Moon Xinghu. The leader of the 10 heavenly kings, Prince Nirvana, was not present. Seeing Princess Longji, Yu Chanwan, and Yen Ruming appear, Sun Xinghu and Moon Xinghu looked at each other. Sun Xinghu and Moon Xinghu looked at each other. Their eyes were flickering under their mask. They had some thoughts in their hearts. As for Ji Qingyi, her face under the veil was extremely calm. No one could guess what she was thinking. It could be said that she was smooth and slick, making it difficult for others to fathom. The three of you, the enemy is right in front of us. Let's deal with these creatures of the other side first, Ji Qingyi said. She did not have any ill feelings towards Ji Qingyi, Princess Longji, and Moon Xinghu. It was just that Yu Chanwan was a little unhappy with Sun Xinghu and Moon Xinghu. However, the enemy was right in front of them, and they should put aside their previous grudges for the time being. Princess Longji and Moon Xinghu joined the battle. They're not even quasi-supremacies. They're just serving themselves. The seed-level prodigies of the immortal region are nothing. Li Jui looked at Tian Kanzi with a mocking look. The confidence that he had lost from Jun Xiaoyao was regained from Tian Kanzi. I'm just warming up. Tian Kanzi's eyes were cold. In any case, he was still a seed-level character in the Divine Silkworm Valley and was once one of the 9 transformations, celestial silkworms. Just a little more and he would be invincible in the 10 transformations. Tian Kanzi had always been searching for a way to transform 10 times. Some time ago, he had sensed that there was a great opportunity in the Heaven Burial Forest. That was why he had rushed over. Then, he met Ji Qingyi and the others. Then, he ran into Li Jui and the others who had also entered the Heaven Burial Forest to hunt the cultivators of the immortal region. The two sides once again engaged in a fierce battle. Magic power of all colors swept out, and large areas of the ancient forest collapsed. They were already in the depths of the Sky Burial Forest. Cracks appeared on the ground. At this time, in the depths of the Heaven Burial Forest, an ancient city suddenly appeared. Spiritual energy was dense, and immortal light soared into the sky. A majestic ancient city appeared in the depths of the Sky Burial Forest. The prodigies of the immortal region and the other side subconsciously stopped what they were doing and looked over. However, they held their breaths when they saw it. The ancient city was plated with a layer of purple gold, and there were natural great Tao marks on it. That was the material used to forge imperial armaments, divine mark purple gold. Although not the entire ancient city was made of divine mark purple gold. However, even if it was just a layer of divine mark purple gold, the materials needed were enough to forge a complete imperial armament. What kind of wealth is this? The prodigies of the two sides were amazed. There was a shocking aura circulating in the entire ancient city. There were reliefs on the surface, engraved with mountains, rivers, sun, moon, ancient beasts, gods, demons, and other totems. All kinds of runes appeared, and divine chains of laws intertwined. They looked extremely ancient and definitely did not belong to this era. Below the ancient city there was an ancient formation diagram. Looking at its range, it seemed to cover the entire heaven burial forest from underground. Such a display of wealth was once again shocking. It's that Tian Kanzi and Yenruming's heartstrings moved at the same time. The feeling they had before had originated from that ancient city. As for why only the two of them sensed it, it probably had something to do with the things hidden in the depths of the ancient city. What is that? Li Jui and the other Heavenly King-level prodigies were also surprised. However, they could vaguely feel that the ancient city gave them an extremely uneasy sense of danger. Dong! 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 Suddenly, a violent tremor came from the depths of the ancient city. It was as if an army of thousands of men and horses stepped out at the same time, and the aura of a golden army spread out. 4 bronze immortal armaments suddenly appeared from the ancient city. These bronze immortal armaments were entirely greenish gold, and they held heavenly spears and other weapons. Supreme runes flowed on their surfaces. Foreign creatures, kill! A heavy and muffled voice came from the bronze immortal armaments. They stepped forward and charged at Li Jui and the others. Damn it, this is the inheritance left behind by a great figure of the immortal region. Retreat. When Li Jui saw this, his eyelids twitched. The desolate border was too large. Since ancient times, who knew how many experts of the 2 worlds had fallen here? The great sacrificial blood ground was rumored to be a dangerous forbidden land formed after the death of a top foreign king. Therefore, it was not surprising that there were treasures left behind by a powerful ancestor of the immortal region here. Seeing Li Jui and the others retreat, Tian Kanzi laughed loudly. The heavens are helping me. He turned and looked at the ancient city with blazing eyes. They had a premonition that there would be an opportunity for him to transform. He might be able to use this opportunity to transform into a 10 transformations invincible divine silkworm. Tian Kanzi turned into a stream of light and was about to enter the ancient city. Ji Qingyi's eyes flashed and she also entered. The Sun Saint Protection and Moon Saint Protection did the same. Let's go too. Yenruming bit her plump red lips. She also felt that there was a great opportunity inside. They all entered the ancient city. On the other side, Li Jui and the others, who were being chased by the 4 bronze immortal armaments, were in a sorry state. These bronze immortal armaments were invulnerable and had supreme runes flowing on their surfaces. Li Jui and the others could not stop them at all. Soon, a heavenly king-tier prodigy fell. On the other side, there was a figure wearing a ghost mask, dressed in white, and surrounded by a chaotic aura. Like a divine king crossing a realm, he crossed the void with his hands behind his back. The surrounding forest, ferocious beasts, and broken arrays were all scattered by the chaotic aura around him. This figure was naturally Jun Xiaoyao, who had entered the sky burial forest. Suddenly, there was a commotion in front of him. Jun Xiaoyao looked over and saw Li Jui and the others fleeing in a sorry state. It's you. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao, Li Jui, Pu Yao, Jin Zhan, and the others' expressions were very unnatural. He never expected Jun Xiaoyao to see him in such a sorry state. However, they were now in danger, and they could only temporarily put their previous unpleasantness with Jun Xiaoyao to the back of their minds. They also knew that although Jun Xiaoyao was a quasi-supreme, he was an absolute powerhouse even among supremes. Prince Mo Jie was nailed to death by Jun Xiaoyao's halberd. Yu Xiaoyao, we found an opportunity in the immortal domain, but we are being chased by a puppet. Help us get rid of this puppet first, and then we will fight for that opportunity. Li Jui said. Although he was reluctant, he could only do so. Jun Xiaoyao looked at Li Jui and the others with interest. For some reason, when he felt this gaze, Li Jui's heart suddenly sank. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand, and a dazzling sword light rushed into the sky. A 3-foot-long sword embryo appeared, and with the chaotic power, it activated the heaven-severing art and slashed at Li Jui and the others. Yu Xiaoyao, how dare you? Seeing this scene, Li Jui's eyes almost popped out of their sockets as he shouted. Chapter 981. Li Jui had a premonition that even if Jun Xiaoyao did not help him, he would at most ignore him. But if that was the case, Li Jui would also think of luring the bronze immortal weapon to Jun Xiaoyao. Who would have thought that Jun Xiaoyao was even more ruthless and attacked them directly? The incomparably thick sword light came crashing down from the sky like a mountain, majestic and mighty. With the support of the power of primal chaos, this sword light seemed to cut through the chaotic universe with astonishing power. The other 10 heavenly king-level prides, such as Pu Yao, Jin Zhan, Gu Qi, and the two-headed divine race prides, were all killed. Under this sword light, their physical bodies were all shattered. They could not even send a message. Moreover, the desolate border was chaotic and it was not that easy to send a message. In just a short moment, only Li Jui was left alive among these heavenly king-level prides. The reason he could survive was because he blocked the sword light with his quasi-emperor weapon, the Eye of Despair. Jun Xiaoyao's face was cold as he attacked again with the everlasting sword embryo. Xiaoyao, you are crazy. Even if we have a grudge, we are now training in the desolate border. We are all from the same world. Li Jui shouted angrily. Who is from the same world as you? Jun Xiaoyao chuckled with a touch of sarcasm. Li Jui's face immediately froze. He felt as if a basin of cold water had been poured all the way down his spine. It chilled his heart. You. Li Jui could not believe it. Jun Xiaoyao stepped on the Kunpeng and landed beside Li Jui in an instant. A voice sounded faintly. My surname is Jun. These 3 words almost froze Li Jui's soul. Jun Xiaoyao. No, this is impossible. Li Jui was horrified as he looked at Jun Xiaoyao, who was wearing a ghost mask in front of him, and felt a chill run down his spine. Wasn't he hiding it too deeply? How did he hide it so well? Li Jui hurriedly took out a jade slip from his spatial artifact, wanting to send a message. Puchi. The everlasting sword embryo directly pierced through Li Jui's head and destroyed his primordial spirit. Li Juiyao had fallen. Jun Xiaoyao then swung the everlasting sword embryo at the quasi-emperor weapon, the Eye of Despair. Instantly, the Eye of Despair shattered. Its essence was absorbed by the everlasting sword embryo. On the surface of the sword embryo, the blurry flying immortal pattern seemed to have become clearer. Unfortunately, Prince Bian isn't here. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly. Then, with a casual wave of his hand, the 2 Shi ancient emperor flame appeared and burned all of the corpses into nothingness. Out of the 10 heavenly king-level geniuses, only Prince Bian was left. At this moment, 4 azure gold figures charged over like cannonballs. They were none other than the 4 bronze immortal soldiers that were chasing after the foreign creatures. A supreme being-level puppet. No wonder it's being hunted down. Seems like that place of fortune is quite interesting. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. The everlasting sword embryo in his hand slashed out. As for the others, even if they were Immortal Domain's seed-level supreme beings, or foreign emperor clan's young supreme beings, they were all extremely powerful. If they encountered these 4 bronze immortal soldiers, they would be badly battered and might even retreat. But Jun Xiaoyao didn't fear them at all. He could even kill one of the 7 minor emperors, Prince Mo Jie, with a single strike. Dealing with these supreme being puppets that didn't have any intelligence and only knew how to use brute force was naturally extremely easy. He didn't even need to use the god's weeping war halberd, directly using the everlasting sword embryo to slash out. Chaotic energy poured down like a waterfall. The everlasting sword embryo's radiance was dazzling. It was unknown what material this everlasting sword embryo was made of, but it was even harder than divine iron and immortal gold. Soon, the 4 bronze immortal soldiers were all killed. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, headed toward the purple-gold ancient city. Meanwhile, on this side, Princess Longji and the others had already pushed open the ancient city's gates and entered. As far as the eye could see, the city walls towered high, made of bronze everywhere. It looked like a city made of metal. Princess Longji, Tian Kanzi, Ji Qingyi, and the others who entered were all observing. However, they maintained a subtle distance between each other. Ji Qingyi, Sun Saint Protector, and Moon Saint Protector could be considered one faction. Princess Longji, Yu Chanwan, and Yen Rumring were one faction. Tian Kanzi was one faction by himself. Of course, Tian Kanzi's cultivation was at the Supreme Being level, and he was the strongest, so he had nothing to worry about. Which lord left behind this dojo? Tian Kanzi muttered to himself. When Qingyi walked in earlier, she saw many primitive demon beast totems carved on the city walls. It shouldn't be the legacy of a human cultivator. It could be Archean royalty, a primordial monster, or a demon legacy, Ji Qingyi said faintly. Miss Qingyi is indeed smart. Tian Kanzi was also surprised. He didn't expect Ji Qingyi to be so observant. On the other side, Princess Longji also glanced at Ji Qingyi. She and Jun Xiaoyao were from the same generation. Many prodigies back then had died, but Ji Qingyi had survived until now, and her status and strength had only increased. This girl is definitely not simple. Princess Longji and the other two were all wary. The three factions all had their own plans. They continued forward, going deep into the ancient city. In the center of the city, mist surged and divine light lingered. Divine chains of various laws intertwined in the void, creating a shocking scene. Everyone couldn't help but rush forward. There was a pool in front of them. However, it wasn't made of pure water, but was filled with rich spiritual qi and the power of laws. This was a pool of laws. Everyone immediately thought of the ancient array under the ancient city. Perhaps that was its purpose. Is something brewing here? Ji Qingyi pondered. Then, the crowd saw a blood-colored spiritual herb in the pond. There was a miniature 10,000 spirit shadow on it, turning into mist and water vapor. The power of laws intertwined. 10,000 spirit blood medicine. Everyone's hearts skipped a beat. This was a peerless treasure that contained the ultimate power of laws. And this kind of power of laws was very helpful for breaking through to the paragon level and becoming a real paragon. Everyone's breathing quickened slightly. Only Tian Kanzi and Yen Ruming were slightly confused. They looked around as if they were looking for something. Suddenly, they both noticed something. There seemed to be a tiny light spot floating on the surface of the pool of laws. At a closer look, it was a purple-gold cocoon. The purple-gold cocoon was only the size of a pinky finger. It was very inconspicuous. That was why no one noticed it. This is Tian Kanzi and Yen Ruming held their breaths. One of them was Tian Kanzi from the celestial Silkworm Valley, while the other was a Skydream butterfly. To some extent, they were part of a big clan. That was why Yuan Kanzi from the celestial Silkworm Valley coveted Yen Ruming so much. A divine demonic ant. Tian Kanzi almost stopped breathing. Yen Ruming also revealed a shocked expression. The other geniuses also noticed it, and they were all shocked. What was a divine demonic ant? It was an existence that was ranked as the strongest divine beast of the ancient era, along with the true dragon, godly phoenix, 9 serenities Ao, Koan Pung, and other powerful races. It might only be an ant, but its strength was shocking. It was said to have mastered the law of the extreme realm of force. Even the sacred body of the ancients, which was known for its physical strength, was slightly weaker than the divine demonic ant in terms of absolute strength. There was a saying about this clan in the 9 heavens immortal realm. An ant is comparable to a divine demon. Chapter 982. No one had expected that they would be able to find traces of the divine demonic ant. Compared to other primordial ferocious beasts, such as true dragons and godly phoenixes, the divine demonic ants were too rare. Although they were an ant race, they were not like ordinary ants who only had one nest. The more powerful the bloodline, the harder it was to pass it down. For example, true dragons and godly phoenixes were prosperous largely because they intermarried with other races. For example, the dragon race had the ancient void dragon tribe, the Dragon King Palace, and the destroyed Zulong tribe. The godly phoenixes also had Demon Phoenix Ancient Cave and other inheritances in the immortal region. The destroyed 10,000 Phoenix Spirit Mountain was one of them. Meanwhile, the divine demonic ants did not intermarry with other races. Not only were they few in number, but it was also difficult for them to reproduce. In the previous war between the two worlds, the divine demonic ants had done their best and made great contributions. There was once a divine demonic ant emperor who tore apart a foreign immortal king. In the end, he was killed by a foreign calamity grade forbidden existence. It could be said that this race was both glorious and tragic. It really is the divine demonic ants. Sun Xinghu and Moon Xinghu's breathing quickened. Let's not talk about anything else. The first thing they thought of was the divine demonic ant's great strength ability. This was a top-notch divine ability that was on par with the true dragon divine ability, the Koan Pung divine ability, and the lightning emperor divine ability. If they could control the divine demonic strength ability, they might be able to control the law of force. This was equivalent to obtaining an additional law for no reason. What was the competition in the prime stage? It was the number of laws and the understanding of the laws. If they could control 9 laws, they would be able to ascend to the paramount stage. That would be almost invincible among primes. If we can get the divine demonic ants and offer them to Sir Sun Xinghu and Moon Xinghu's minds became active. If their chaos physique Sir could get the divine demonic ants, he would be even happier than if he got Yu Chanwan. Not to mention, if he could get a divine demonic ant as a follower, he would definitely become an invincible battle servant in the future. Of course, those elders at the immortal region border would not let the divine demonic ants become anyone's servant. Because this clan's contributions were too great, if the group of elders knew that this clan still had descendants, they would definitely be extremely excited and moved. Sun Xinghu and Moon Xinghu weren't the only ones who had their eyes on the divine demonic ant. Ji Qingyi's eyes flashed, but she did not reveal anything. Tian Kanzi's breathing quickened. He finally understood why he had such a feeling. Heavenly silkworms, godfiend ants, and skydream butterflies, strictly speaking, all belonged to the same category. Therefore, there was a subtle sense of opportunity. If I can obtain the celestial demon ant's celestial demon great strength divine art, I might be able to reflect its technique and transform into a 10 transformations celestial silkworm. Even with Tian Kanzi's temperament, he couldn't help but feel a little excited. As for Yen Rumeng, she also understood. The divine demonic ant and her true form, the skydream bewitching butterfly, were of the same species. That was why they could sense each other's presence. Rumeng, this opportunity should be very suitable for you. If you can obtain the essence of the divine demon ant race, you will definitely transform, said Yu Chanwan. During this period of time, they had become good sisters. But Yen Rumeng glanced at Tian Kanzi. This fortuitous encounter was not easy to obtain. For a moment, the atmosphere fell into an eerie silence. It was Ji Qingyi who broke the silence. I didn't expect to find divine demonic ants here. It seems like this purple-gold ancient city was left behind by the ancestors of the divine demonic ant race. These divine demonic ants are very useful to me, said Tian Kanzi directly. He was a seed-level prodigy from the celestial Silkworm Valley, a supreme being. His cultivation base was the highest here. Ji Qingyi, Sun Xinghu, and Moon Xinghu were all quasi-supreme. Of course, only Ji Qingyi herself would know if her cultivation base and strength were compatible. As for Princess Longji and the others, they were naturally at a disadvantage. However, the 3 girls were very smart. They knew what they were qualified to obtain and what they weren't. We're not greedy for these divine demonic ants. Let's explore other places in the ancient city, said Princess Longji calmly. Although she had obtained the 9-finger Sage Dragon Emperor's inheritance, she was still a latecomer. Her foundation was still too shallow. Compared to the current supreme outlawed prodigies, there was still a gap. Not to mention the seed-level prodigies. Yen Rumeng did not say much. Although she was a little envious of the divine demonic ants, she knew that she could not win against Tian Kanzi. However, a cold voice caused the hearts of the 3 women to sink. Wait, Yu Chanwan. I've given you a choice in the Immortal Academy. Now I'll give you another chance. The one who spoke was Sun Xinghu. Yu Chanjuan's pretty face was extremely cold. It was Jun Xiaoyao who saved her from the darkness. Her body and soul belonged to Jun Xiaoyao. Even if she took a step back and Jun Xiaoyao really died, she would not have any relationship with him. Yu Chanwan would never have a relationship with any other man in her life. She would only do her best to help the Jun family and the imperial court. Sun Xinghu wanted her to follow the chaos physique. That was ridiculous. I won't repeat what I've already said Yu Chanwan indifferently. Sun Xinghu chuckled and did not care. Instead, he looked at Tian Kanzi. Your Excellency Tian Kanzi, I'm sure you've heard that Jun Xiaoyao killed your clan's Yuan Kanzi Daozi. He even suppressed the divine silkworm princess of the divine silkworm valley and made her the maid of the Jiang family's goddess, Jiang Shunyi. Aren't you going to settle this score? Shameless. Yen Rumeng raised her eyebrows and widened her eyes when she heard that. Sun Xinghu was trying to get Tian Kanzi to go against them. As expected, Tian Kanzi's expression changed slightly. It was not that he was instigated by Sun Xinghu. As a seed-level prodigy, no one would have such a bad temperament. However, Tian Kanzi remembered that Yen Rumeng's original body was the Skydream butterfly. If he could get it and add the divine demonic ant, the possibility of him transforming into a 10 transformations celestial silkworm was 70% to 80%. After all, the Skydream butterfly was in existence on par with the immemorial Emperor butterfly and the cracked demonic butterfly. Yen Rumeng was not very powerful because her bloodline awakened late. She had to rely on Jun Xiaoyao's help to awaken her bloodline. At that thought, Tian Kanzi glanced at Yen Rumeng again. Her face was as flawless as jade. She was as beautiful as a flower and as beautiful as the moon. Her features were exquisite and beautiful. Under her pink dress, her slender and round legs were very eye-catching. She was such a beautiful woman with exceptional looks, bloodline, and talent. It would not be a loss to have her as a wife. Yen Rumeng, do you need to comprehend the secret of the divine demonic ants? I can share it with you, Tian Kanzi said. No need. Yen Rumeng rejected decisively. She was disgusted by the way Tian Kanzi sized her up. I'm just being nice. You can't reject me. Tian Kanzi took half a step forward. Sun Xinghu sneered and took a step forward with Moon Xinghu. On the other hand, Ji Qingyi remained calm and watched from the sidelines. Aren't you afraid of the Jun family, the Emperor's court, and the Demon God Palace? Princess Longji's hair fluttered in the wind. Her eyes were cold. Jun Xiaoyao might have disappeared, but the power behind him did not. Why are you so stubbornly following someone who has already become a thing of the past? If I had been born earlier, Jun Xiaoyao might not be as famous as he is now. Tian Kanzi reached out, wanting to suppress Yen Rumeng. Sun Xinghu and Moon Xinghu also attacked, wanting to capture Yu Chanwan. How dare you? Compared to Master, you are nothing. Princess Longji scolded. Princess Longji, I think you've lost your mind. You've disgraced the Archean royalty. Tian Kanzi said coldly, raising his hand to suppress her. At that moment, rumble! The entire purple-gold ancient city suddenly began to tremble, as if some ferocious demon had broken through and entered. In the distance, vast and mighty chaotic chi surged, and it crushed over like tidewater. Seeing this, Sun Xinghu instinctively revealed a look of joy. But just as he was about to greet Master, he suddenly realized that Master had not come out of the door of chaos yet. Then the source of the chaotic chi was, boom! Amidst the chaotic mist that filled the sky, a slender figure wearing a ghost mask appeared. He was dressed in a hazy white robe and was surrounded by chaotic energy. Without another word, he raised his fair and slender palm and slammed it towards Tian Kanzi. Chapter 983. You are. Tian Kanzi was surprised by the sudden appearance of this person. He flipped his palm, and the power of laws was endless. This was one of the divine Silkworm Valley's great abilities, the bone-melting soft palm. However, the white-clothed man with the ghost face only extended his palm in an ordinary manner. Chaotic aura surged and condensed, forming a chaotic palm print. Even the lines on the palm could be seen clearly, as mysterious and profound as the patterns of the stars. Boom! A violent tremor erupted, and the entire ancient city buzzed. If not for the layer of divine mark purple gold covering the entire ancient city, it would probably have been shattered by this attack. Cough! At the center of the collision, it was as if two meteors had collided. The sound of bones cracking and blood coughing could be heard. Tian Kanzi was sent flying like a cannonball, and blood splattered in the air. How is this possible? The Sun and Moon Saint Protectors were both shocked. Tian Kanzi was a seed-level prodigy who had awakened from a deep slumber. He was already a supreme the moment he was born. He could be considered one of the top young primes in the celestial realm. But now, he was sent flying by a single palm. Even if their lord came out, it would take him 3 or 4 moves to suppress Tian Kanzi. You're only a quasi-supreme, but you can injure me. Plus, you have the chaotic body. You're the one with the chaotic body from the other domain. Tian Kanzi couldn't help but be shocked. A normal quasi-supreme attacking him was undoubtedly courting death. But now, this mysterious man could easily injure him. In addition, his body was shrouded in chaotic aura. The identity of this person was obvious. The other domain chaotic body, the Ares Academy's war god, and one of the 6 world destruction kings. It's really him. The Sun and Moon Saint Protectors were both terrified. Although their cultivation levels were the same as the chaotic body in front of them, they were all quasi-supreme. But they felt that if the chaotic body wanted to kill them, one move would be too much. Previously, they were still a little disdainful, thinking that the other domain chaotic body was fake or an inferior postnatal chaotic body. Now, it seemed that their thoughts were indeed extremely laughable. Ji Qingyi's clear eyes looked at Jun Xiaoyao and frowned slightly. That figure, dressed in white, always made her unconsciously think of a certain figure. How could such a thing happen? Ji Qingyi shook her head, thinking that it was just her subconscious imagination. There were many people in the world who wore white, and it was not exclusive to one person. He is, Princess Longji Yu Chanwan and Yen Ruming were also stunned. To be honest, they had also thought that they had seen that familiar figure at a certain moment, and they had almost cried out in joy. However, the misty primal chaos chi and the grimacing mask on his face told them that that was just an illusion. Attack together. Tian Kanzi's expression was unprecedentedly serious. He would never have thought that he would feel such pressure when facing a quasi-supreme being. Sun Saint Protector and Moon Saint Protector were the same. On the other side, Jun Xiaoyao glanced at the scene under the mask. He didn't expect to run into these familiar faces. However, he had also noticed that Princess Longji and the others were not on good terms with Tian Kanzi's people. While Jun Xiaoyao was unable to openly lend a helping hand, he was still able to get rid of those troublemakers. Kill! Tian Kanzi's voice was filled with killing intent. He was still ambitious. If he could kill this foreign chaotic body with his own hands, what kind of rewards and glory would he receive? If they were both supremes, Tian Kanzi would not even think about it. He would just run away. Fortunately, he was a quasi-supreme. Tian Kanzi thought that he still had a chance. Sun Saint Protector and Moon Saint Protector attacked at the same time. Ji Qingyi thought for a moment, then attacked as well. She was a little curious. As for Princess Longji's side, the three girls were slightly dazed, because that blurry figure surrounded by primal chaos chi was indeed similar to that person. However, just a chaotic body was enough to stop the three girls from having such ridiculous thoughts. Let's retreat first, Yen Ruming whispered to the two girls, who were slightly dazed. Princess Longji and Yu Chanwan finally regained their senses. They took a deep look at the white-robed figure, then turned and retreated, leaving the purple-gold ancient city. On the other side, the battle had begun. Sensing that Princess Longji and the others had left, Jun Xiaoyao secretly heaved a sigh of relief. He was really afraid that these three girls would be stubborn and attack him. That would be inconvenient. Fortunately, they were all smart girls and knew how to judge the situation. Divine Silkworm Sealing Sky Technique. Tian Kanzi used the Divine Silkworm Valley's top divine ability. Tens of thousands of power of laws behind him turned into silk-like threads, surging toward Jun Xiaoyao in an overwhelming manner. This secret technique of the Divine Silkworm Valley was said to be able to seal the sky and the earth. It could seal the enemy in a cocoon of laws and then refine them. From this move, it could be seen that Tian Kanzi's use of the power of laws was already very exquisite. Sun Saint Protector and Moon Saint Protector attacked as well. As followers of the immortal realm chaotic body, their talents and strength were naturally not ordinary. They were much more powerful than the Star Saint Protector. At this moment, the two of them used their strongest moves. One of them waved his fist, carrying with it a radiance as bright as the sun. The other held a curved blade in his hand, and 1,000 feet long moon-white blade shot out, tearing through the void. Ji Qingyi also attacked. She waved her jade-like palm, and its power was about the same as the two saint protectors. Seeing this, Jun Xiaoyao formed the mountain-moving seal. This was one of the moves that he had comprehended from the War God catalog. Although it was not an earth-shattering divine ability, in Jun Xiaoyao's hands, it could turn something rotten into something magical. Not to mention, there was the support of the chaotic power, making this move, which was not weak to begin with, even more powerful. Rumble! Jun Xiaoyao's seal crushed over, sending Ji Qingyi, Sun Saint Protector, and Moon Saint Protector flying. Ji Qingyi was fine, but her face under the veil was slightly pale. Sun Saint Protector and Moon Saint Protector both spat out blood, and their bones cracked. They were instantly severely injured. At this moment, Tian Kanzi's ultimate move had already enveloped them. Countless threads condensed from the power of laws intertwined around Jun Xiaoyao, flashing with runes. They instantly turned into a cocoon of laws, wrapping Jun Xiaoyao within. Refine! Tian Kanzi shouted. Dermic energy surged, and various runes and divine chains intertwined in the void. They even turned into nomological Dao fire, roasting the cocoon of laws. It was clear that Tian Kanzi, as a seed-level prodigy of the celestial realm, had some skills. It was not without reason that these seed-level prodigies could dominate their eras. Ha, so what if you have the chaotic body? Tian Kanzi's face showed a hint of joy. If he could extract the chaotic blood and chaotic origin from it, then his chances of transforming into a 10 transformations celestial silkworm would be almost 100%. However, just as Tian Kanzi was indulging in his dream, a dazzling sword light tore through the cocoon of laws. Even the void was shattered and pierced through. A dazzling and extremely fast sword light instantly pierced through Tian Kanzi's forehead. Before he could even react, his primordial spirit had already shattered into nothingness. A seed-level prodigy of the celestial realm, Tian Kanzi had fallen. Chapter 984. Tian Kanzi's body fell from the sky. There was a sword mark between his eyebrows. Looking inside, his entire brain had been shattered into nothingness, and his primordial spirit had long disappeared. However, his head remained intact. It was obvious that Jun Xiaoyao's understanding of the Sword Dao had reached an extremely profound level. However, it made sense. Jun Xiaoyao had mastered 4 of the Sword Dao's 5 divine arts. His swordsmanship must be profound. How is this possible? Sun Xinghu and Moon Xinghu felt chills down their spines. This was a supreme being seedling. Even if it was their master, it was impossible for him to kill them so cleanly, right? Thinking of this, their hearts sank. They were scared out of their wits and wanted to retreat. However, Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't give them the chance to do so. He threw out a punch, his dermic power surging. A thick ancient tablet appeared in the void, as if it had the power to suppress the heavens. This was also one of the moves in the God of War catalog, the Battle Tablet Hand. Splat! Sun Xinghu and Moon Xinghu were suppressed by the ancient tablet. Like ants, their bodies exploded and their primordial spirits shattered. At this point, the Sun Xinghu, Moon Xinghu, and Star Xinghu under the immortal realm chaotic body had all died. They had completely offended the immortal realm chaotic body. However, Jun Xiaoyao didn't care. It started when Star Xinghu instigated the gatekeeper's family to kidnap Yu Chanwan. Jun Xiaoyao and the immortal realm chaotic body had already formed a grudge. In the end, only Ji Qingyi was left. Princess Longji and the other 2 had already left the purple-gold ancient city. Ji Qingyi frowned as she faced Jun Xiaoyao alone. Her expression was grim. The more she looked at the blurry figure in the chaos, the more she felt like it was someone. In addition, Ji Qingyi was smart and shrewd. Therefore, she thought more than the others. Do you know Jun Xiaoyao, the alien chaotic body? Ji Qingyi suddenly asked. At the same time, she locked her gaze on Jun Xiaoyao, trying to detect the subtle changes in him. Ha woman, Jun Xiaoyao sighed. Ji Qingyi was testing him. He had seen Ji Qingyi for the first time in the Huangtian mystic realm. He felt that this woman's thoughts were extremely deep and extraordinary. Many geniuses who appeared at the same time in the Huangtian mystic realm had already died. Ji Qingyi, on the other hand, was able to live on peacefully. Furthermore, she was doing even better than before. This was enough to prove the woman's scheming. However, this kind of scheming needs to be taught a lesson. In the face of absolute strength, any scheming will seem pale and laughable. Jun Xiaoyao sneered in his heart before he struck. Vast and mighty chaotic qi filled the void. He attacked Ji Qingyi. It just so happened that he could use his identity as an alien chaotic body to test Ji Qingyi's limit. After all, Ji Qingyi had never offended him in the celestial realm. He even expressed his goodwill to Jun Xiaoyao and said that he wanted to be friends. Therefore, at that time, Jun Xiaoyao could not casually attack Ji Qingyi. Now that he had this layer of armor, he could make a move to test the waters. Just how deep were Ji Qingyi's waters? Seeing that Jun Xiaoyao ignored her, she directly attacked. Ji Qingyi raised her eyebrows. She had no choice but to attack. Her jade-like palms slapped out, causing the heavenly wind to dance. At the same time, she used some kind of secret technique. Her strength rose steadily until it was close to that of a perfected quasi-supreme. One had to know that among the 7th-level supremes, secret techniques that could raise one's strength in a short period of time were extremely rare. However, Ji Qingyi had mastered one. Boom! The two of them collided. Ji Qingyi retreated step by step, feeling as if she was being crushed by an ancient beast. As expected of the chaotic body, Ji Qingyi sighed. However, Jun Xiaoyao was surprised. When Ji Qingyi attacked with the others just now, her strength was about the same as that of the sacred protector of sun and sacred protector of moon. Now that she was alone, her strength had risen to such a terrifying level that she could take Jun Xiaoyao's attack head-on. Let me see how many more secrets you have. Jun Xiaoyao was getting more and more interested. His figure flashed, broke through space, and suppressed Ji Qingyi again. Ji Qingyi secretly bit her lip. Even though she was thinking about Linglong, she was extremely shrewd. However, in the face of absolute strength, any schemes were useless. In just a few rounds, Ji Qingyi retreated step by step, blood flowing from the corner of her lip. "Is this your true strength? It's stronger than I thought, but it's still not enough," Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Suddenly, just when Ji Qingyi was at her weakest, a cold light flashed across her clear eyes. An illusory Tao diagram rushed out of her delicate body and suppressed Jun Xiaoyao. That Tao diagram was very illusory. It was not a physical object, but an imprint. There were images of immortals and demons carved on it. Immortals and demons filled the sky. Two completely opposite scenes appeared on the same diagram. A terrifying aura that could suppress demons and seal immortals was released. Immortal artifact imprint? Jun Xiaoyao was truly astonished. He was very surprised. Immortal artifacts were extremely rare. They were much more precious than emperor weapons. Most immortal forces had emperor weapons. However, there were not many forces that had immortal artifact. Jun Xiaoyao did not know whether the Jun family had one or not, and he had never asked. However, the most famous force was the Supreme Xian Ting. It once had an immortal artifact and the throne of the Celestial Emperor, but it was later lost. In the end, Ling Yan obtained the imprint of the Celestial Emperor's throne. However, the problem was that it was the Supreme Xian Ting. It was normal for him to have an immortal artifact. However, Ji Qingyi was able to obtain an immortal artifact imprint alone. She had hidden it very well. It was no wonder that Ji Qingyi did not panic when facing him. "Immortal demon diagram, suppress!" Ji Qingyi yelled. Although it was only an immortal artifact imprint, its power was extremely strong. The entire purple-gold ancient palace buzzed. Even though it was covered by the divine mark purple gold, it almost cracked. Did Ji Qingyi obtain some kind of inheritance, or did she know some kind of big secret? Jun Xiaoyao increasingly felt that Ji Qingyi was not simple. Not everyone could have an immortal artifact. It either came from a powerful force, or it was the inheritance of a top legend. Jun Xiaoyao knew that this was definitely not an immortal artifact from the Ji family or the human immortal sect. Rumble. The immortal demon diagram imprint pressed down mightily. It was as if the heavens were about to collapse. Anything that was related to immortals was not simple. Even if it was just an immortal artifact imprint, its power was extremely strong. Ji Qingyi's face was pale. Even if it was just an immortal artifact imprint, it would take some effort for her to activate it. Even if a real immortal artifact was placed in front of her, it would be difficult for ordinary cultivators to use it. They might even suffer a backlash. Jun Xiaoyao didn't panic when he saw what was happening. He casually took out a dark golden halberd from his spatial Dharma artifact. Instantly, a fierce battle intent and demonic aura spread in all directions. The dark golden halberd was 7 feet long, and its blade glowed with dark golden light. Blood veins wriggled on the halberd as if they were alive. They turned into blood vessels and pierced into Jun Xiaoyao's arm. The dark golden halberd seemed to have awakened. It emitted a demonic aura that was unparalleled and domineering. Jun Xiaoyao's black hair instantly turned snow-white. He held the god's tear halberd and slashed at the immortal demon diagram. Chapter 985. As an immortal artifact, the immortal demon painting's power was undeniable. But the god's weeping battle halberd was no ordinary item. The fact that it was the weapon of the first god of war was enough to prove its value. Jun Xiaoyao had a feeling that the god's weeping battle halberd was somehow related to the secret of the 6 apocalyptic kings. A demonic weapon of this level could not be destroyed easily, even by an immortal artifact. Jun Xiaoyao waved the god's weeping battle halberd, and the sharp edge of the halberd cracked the void. The dark golden halberd light carried a supreme demonic aura that could split the heavens. Boom! It was as if thousands of stars had exploded at the same time. The ripples of dermic powers caused the entire purple-gold ancient palace to shake violently. Amid the explosion, Ji Yiqing's body trembled. Ji Qingyi's delicate body trembled. The recoil caused her to spit out a mouthful of blood, dyeing her snow-white veil red. Even Ji Qingyi, who had always been meticulous, revealed a look of shock. She had pretended to be weak just to numb her opponent and then used the immortal demon painting to suppress him. Even if it could not kill the chaotic body, it could at least injure him and buy time for her to retreat. Who would have thought that her opponent would have such a powerful demonic weapon? The weapon is never the most important thing. It also depends on who is using it. Jun Xiaoyao's voice was low and magnetic. The immortal artifact was indeed powerful, but it also depended on who was using it. If Jun Xiaoyao used it, it would be even more powerful. Jun Xiaoyao took advantage of the situation and used the god's weeping battle halberd to resist the suppression of the immortal demon painting. At the same time, he used his hand to suppress Ji Qingyi. Finally, he used his hand to grab Ji Qingyi's snow-white neck. The scene was silent. "It's over," Jun Xiaoyao said. Ji Qingyi's eyes flashed as she put the immortal artifact back into her body. Jun Xiaoyao also put away the god's weeping battle halberd. He only needed to use a little more force to crush Ji Qingyi's throat and shatter her primordial spirit. It could be said that Ji Qingyi's life and death depended on Jun Xiaoyao's decision. "I lost," Ji Qingyi said calmly. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not let go. Ji Qingyi's schemes were too deep. That move from the immortal demon diagram could seriously injure ordinary seed-level prodigies if they weren't careful. Only Jun Xiaoyao had absolute confidence in his own strength and could deal with any unexpected situation. "Why are you still wearing the blood-stained veil?" With his other hand, Jun Xiaoyao tore off Ji Qingyi's veil. Instantly, she revealed a peerless face that made the world pale in comparison. Her face was like the bright moon, her eyes were like autumn ripples, her lips were pearly white, and her teeth were like snow carved from jade. Such beauty was rarely seen in the world. It was no wonder that she had to wear a veil. Otherwise, wherever she went, many men would lose their minds. At this moment, Ji Qingyi's blood-stained lips made her look even more pitiful. If it were any other man, they might not be able to bear to do it. Under the ghost mask, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes had not changed from the beginning to the end. This was not the first time he had seen Ji Qingyi's true appearance under her veil. Previously, Ji Qingyi had appeared on the ancient road's 70th checkpoint, the Desolate Star. She had taken the initiative to remove her veil, saying that she had only shown her face to Jun Xiaoyao. As for Jun Xiaoyao, he did not have any feelings for Ji Qingyi. He did not like or dislike her. People like Ji Qingyi would have been called scheming bitches in his previous life. However, as long as she did not scheme against Jun Xiaoyao would not kill Ji Qingyi. That would be meaningless. On the other hand, Ji Qingyi had piqued Jun Xiaoyao's interest. This kind of interest was like the kind of interest one would have when seeing a rare animal and wanting to study it. What other secrets did Ji Qingyi have? "Are you going to kill me?" Ji Qingyi asked. Her tone was as cold and calm as usual, as if she did not realize the current situation. "Do you think I should do this?" Jun Xiaoyao stepped forward and pinched Ji Qingyi's snow-white chin, his body leaning close to hers. He could even faintly feel Ji Qingyi's soft and graceful curve. This caused Ji Qingyi's pale face to turn slightly red. It was a trace of embarrassment. No matter how deep Ji Qingyi's thoughts and schemes were, she was still a woman. After all, she was a woman. Moreover, Ji Qingyi had a bottom line. She would never use her beauty and body as a bargaining chip. In her eyes, almost all men in the world were filthy and stupid. That was why she wore a veil, unwilling to let those lecherous, shameless, and extremely ordinary men peek at her face. Even Ji Daoyi had never seen her face. He could not even get within 3 feet of her. In the end, he had died in Ji Qingyi's hands. Among all the men, Jun Xiaoyao was the only one who caught her eye and made her see him in a different light. In her eyes, other men were flesh and blood made of mud, while Jun Xiaoyao was flesh and blood made of water. It was a pity that such a man whom she admired was no longer around. If you let me go, I can tell you a piece of news, Ji Qingyi said, blinking her eyes. Oh, what news? Jun Xiaoyao asked. Promise to let me go first, Ji Qingyi said. That depends on whether your news is valuable or not, Jun Xiaoyao said. Ji Qingyi was silent for a moment. Then she said, You are one of the 6 world destruction kings. You are a great threat to the celestial region. You are already on the decapitation guard's must-kill list. In order to kill you, they specially brought the 9th ancient killing formation. Ji Qingyi's words surprised Jun Xiaoyao, but it was reasonable. Jun Xiaoyao knew that the celestial region would send people to kill him. What surprised him was that they had even used the 9th ancient killing formation. It was a terrifying offensive formation that had been passed down since the ancient times. It was ranked 9th. The Jun family's protective formation was the 3rd ancient killing formation. Its power was terrifying. As for the 1st and 2nd killing formations, it was rumored that they had been completely lost. Although the 9th ancient killing formation could not be compared to the 3rd ancient killing formation, it was definitely not weak. Killing a young prodigy was like using a sledgehammer to kill a chicken. It was a waste of talent. Is this news enough? Ji Qingyi asked. She did not care what impact it would have on the plan if the news was leaked. As long as she could escape and survive, it was enough. Had Jun Xiaoyao chuckled. He raised his hand, and the primal chaos aura emanated from his finger. Then, it brushed past Ji Qingyi's beautiful face, leaving behind a mark. Ji Qingyi's body shook. A mark that was difficult to erase was left on her face. To any woman, especially a woman with peerless beauty, this was unacceptable. This mark contains the power of primal chaos and the laws. Only I can erase it. Remember. Jun Xiaoyao smiled and let go of Ji Qingyi's neck. This was a warning to Ji Qingyi so that she would not be so arrogant and think that she could scheme against everyone. It was also a psychological pressure to Ji Qingyi. There was no need to beat around the bush when communicating with a woman like Ji Qingyi. It was enough to make her cry and then conquer her. Ji Qingyi's voluptuous breasts rose and fell. She looked deeply at Jun Xiaoyao and put on a veil again to cover the marks on her face. Then, she turned and flew away. She had completely remembered it. It was hard not to remember it. Jun Xiaoyao watched as Ji Qingyi left, but he did not mind. He felt that there must be some secrets behind Ji Qingyi. It would not be too late to investigate when he returned to the celestial realm in the future. Then, the next thing is, Jun Xiaoyao turned and looked at the pool of laws. The pool of laws, the myriad spirit blood herb, and the god-fiend ant. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes lit up. Did he strike it rich? Chapter 986. Jun Xiaoyao had grown up in a clan of the ancients, so he was naturally knowledgeable. He could immediately tell that there was a small figure inside the purple-gold cocoon. It should be the legendary god-fiend ant. From the outside, it looked like an inconspicuous little ant. However, this race was even rarer than pure-blooded true dragons. It had mastered the laws of strength. It also had the unique god-fiend strength superpower. By the way, this race has the god-fiend strength superpower. It's comparable to the Kuan Pring superpower and the Lightning Emperor's superpower that I control, Jun Xiaoyao thought. There was something else about the god-fiend's strength superpower that attracted Jun Xiaoyao. When this superpower was mastered to the extreme, one could control the laws of strength. If one could master one more law in the celestial stage, they might be much stronger than other celestials. No wonder Tian Kanzi and the others are drooling. Even I'm tempted, Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. He looked at the pool of laws again. A blood-colored spirit medicine floated in it. There were 10,000 spirit phantoms around it. This is the 10,000 spirit blood medicine. Jun Xiaoyao finally understood why there was a huge ancient array under the purple-gold ancient city. It was gathering the blood qi, laws, Dao bones, and other energies of the dead creatures in the sky burial forest. They would gather in the purple-gold ancient city, and form the pool of laws to nurture the 10,000 spirit blood medicine. It was also providing energy for the small god-fiend ant. The pool of laws was equivalent to a nourishment pool. The 10,000 spirit blood medicine was a great supplement. When the small god-fiend ant broke out of the cocoon, it could naturally consume it and grow quickly. They really put in a lot of effort. Jun Xiaoyao had to exclaim. He could feel that the purple-gold cocoon contained an extremely pure and surging power. The small god-fiend ant was probably a direct descendant of the Tharch race. In other words, it was the son of an Tharch. This was a true sign that his son had the bearing of an Tharch. The god-fiend ant race has many strong people, but the most famous person in the recent era should be the god-fiend Tharch. The god-fiend Tharch had participated in the war between the two worlds and was a true hero. More than one immortal king had died in his hands. Finally, he was attacked by a calamity-level undying. Even so, after fighting for a great deal of time, together with several other undying kings surrounding and attacking him, he finally fell. From this, it could be seen how tenacious the vitality of this clan was. If I teach the divine demonic ant the immortality technique in the life book, wouldn't it become an unkillable cockroach? Jun Xiaoyao suddenly thought of this idea and found it interesting. But first, he had to see the attitude of the little divine demon ant. Jun Xiaoyao had already begun to think. However, he wouldn't accept this divine fiend ant as a follower. After all, he was the descendant of a hero. It was not bad to be his friend or lackey. However, this myriad spirit blood medicine is useful to me. Jun Xiaoyao didn't stand on ceremony, so he plucked the myriad spirit blood herb and placed it in his inner universe. It was impossible for him to break through to the supremacy stage with just the heavenly immortal fruit. The 10,000 spirit blood medicine just so happened to solve the urgent problem. Forget it, I won't take advantage of you. Jun Xiaoyao thought for a moment, then reached out his finger. Immediately, a drop of chaos blood appeared. It wasn't just a drop of blood. It was a drop of chaos blood that was forced out of his heart. Just this drop of chaos blood essence was worth more than the myriad spirit blood medicine. The chaos blood dripped onto the purplish gold cocoon. Surging energy fluctuations began to surging like waves. The energy was like a primordial great evil awakening. But in fact, it was just an ant the size of a pinky finger. Crack. Nourished by the chaos blood, the purplish gold cocoon began to crack. Finally, a small creature crawled out of the cocoon. It was an ant about the size of a pinky finger. It was purplish gold all over as if it was made of immortal gold. It had a total of 6 legs. The 2 at the front were like arms, and it even had palms like a human. It was almost like a human. At the same time, it had a pair of antennae on its head. At that moment, the little divine demon ant seemed to have not figured out what was going on. It touched its antennae with its hands. However, its antennae trembled, and it immediately sensed a dark aura. Foreign creature, die. A tender and clear voice came from the little divine demon ant's mouth. When it saw Jun Xiaoyao, its eyes immediately turned red, and sparks of hatred shot out. It jumped 3 feet high and threw a punch at Jun Xiaoyao at an extremely fast speed. He was clearly just a small ant, but the fist he threw out contained the law of force and shattered the void. Supreme Being. Jun Xiaoyao immediately saw the little divine demon ant's level. Strictly speaking, the little divine demon ant was also a seedling that had been asleep for a long time. Not to mention that it was a direct descendant of a Tharch, so it was normal for it to be a supreme being. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand to block it. It could be said that their sizes were not in the same dimension at all. It was a little ridiculous. However, Jun Xiaoyao felt a crushing force like that of a primordial beast. It was as if he was facing a star-swallowing ancient beast. The power was so overwhelming that it shook the heavens. Fortunately, Jun Xiaoyao had the chaotic physique, so his body was very strong. Otherwise, if it were any other physique, apart from those in the top 10, the punch would have destroyed them. Probably no physique could withstand it. Chaotic physique? The little divine demon ant was obviously stunned, but it still charged at Jun Xiaoyao recklessly. Wait, don't be rash. Jun Xiaoyao wanted to explain. I have nothing to say to you. The little divine demon ant was very agitated. It threw one punch after another, and every punch was extremely dazzling. Its body was also covered in purple gold and crimson blood qi. That was the divine demon ant's force bloodline, which was extremely powerful. Boom, boom, boom. Jun Xiaoyao and the little ant punched each other. Every punch broke the sound barrier and shattered the void. Jun Xiaoyao was shocked. He didn't use his full strength, but he had the chaotic physique after all. However, the little ant's strength was not inferior to his at all. No wonder it was a divine demon ant that had mastered the extreme state of force. Wait, I'm not an alien, Jun Xiaoyao said. He wanted to be honest with the divine demon ant. Don't try to lie to me. My ant sense can sense your dirty and dark energy. The little divine demon ant yelled. Its voice was crisp and tender. The antennae on its head were very sensitive. Jun Xiaoyao was speechless, but he could understand. After all, its father should be the fallen god-fiend emperor. If Jun Xiaoyao was in the same situation, if his father, Jun Wuhui, had died in the alien realm, he would probably go crazy too. If I were your enemy, I wouldn't use the chaotic essence blood to nourish and wake you up. I would refine you directly. Jun Xiaoyao sighed. The little divine demon ant was stunned. Only then did it realize. A surge of chaotic energy was nourishing its revived body. It was the chaotic essence blood. Only then did the little divine demon ant stop attacking. Its big eyes were still filled with hostility as it stared at Jun Xiaoyao. What are you planning? I won't be fooled. The little divine demon ant was very cautious.